us all, while another is coming back to the grounds he should have never left. A home temporarily being taken care of by someone while we wait for that familiar face to open the door and say hello. And while we wait, we certainly have a good arm to lean on today. It's opening day at Yankee Stadium. Welcome home. Welcome to opening day from Yankee Stadium here on Fox 5. The Yankees take on the Detroit Tigers. On the mound for the Yankees, David Cone, and he will be opposed by rookie right-hander Baker Gratterall. Well, that is magic, and that is also history at Yankee Stadium, but the unprecedented 24th World Championship as they celebrate that today. And, of course, the greatest of all Yankee coming back, Yogi Berra.
Yankee Stadium, I guess you could say it's a monument surrounding monuments, and no greater monument to baseball, the beloved Yogi Berra to throw out the first pitch today.
Boy, it's great to have Yogi back here. It's great to see that flag being raised. It's great to celebrate the World Championship, the 24th unprecedented World Championship for this famous franchise. Hello, everybody. I'm Bobby Mercer. That's Tim McCarver. Welcome to New York Yankee Baseball here on Fox 5. Tim, before we talk about David Cone, you know, opening day around baseball is special, but it's really special here at Yankee Stadium.
As the song goes, I'm like a kid again, doing what I did again. My first opening day at Yankee Stadium, and I was so impressed when I first came in here as a 22-year-old 35 years ago.
It is electric. Let's talk about David Cone. Now, David Cone, the Yankees have him opening up here today. Roger Clemens opened up on the home opener in Oakland, two pretty good right-handers.
Not too shabby when you can open up your only 20-game winner in game number 4. And Yankee fans familiar with David Cone, he gives hitters a lot of looks. He'll drop down with a slider. He'll throw the fastball inside to right-handers primarily and reserves that splitter for left-handed batters. He is a tough, tough competitor.
1998, 20 and 70, tied for the most wins in the American League with those 20. But look at his career here as a Yankee, 48 and 17, and that's one of the reasons that the Yankees, in the last 3 years, they've won 2 World Championships.
They've gotten a lot of mileage out of David Cone and expect more mileage, more arrows in his quiver.
Well, you talk about legends. Well, just a few minutes ago, as a matter of fact, they raised the flag here at Yankee Stadium. Yogi, check that, the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford, on the left, along with the scooter, Phil Rizzuto, and there it goes. 24 World Championships, almost unbelievable. And it will be flying high here at Yankee Stadium for the game this afternoon, and we'll be back with much more as opening ceremonies begin. Stay with us.
Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota. Every day.
Oh, car trouble. What's the score?
No score. You don't drive a Toyota, do you?
How'd you know?
Because you can count on a Toyota. Watch. You're looking at Toyota quality and reliability. It's made Camry the #1 selling car in America. Ooh, and with 1,000 in option discounts, your Toyota dealer makes Camry so easy to get into.
Great.
Uh-oh, penalty kick.
Who's the new goalie?
That's my niece. Pretty good, huh?
Pride and tradition, that's what this team is built on. Drive, dedication, focus. Our quality is second to none. Give 100% at all times and we'll stay the best, the deli best.
Thuman's Golden Roasted Turkey, moist turkey breast baked with a variety of flavorful spices.
Thuman's, the deli best.
Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. Pre-game ceremonies going on right now, and just waiting for his turn. That's Yogi Berra returning back to Yankee Stadium for the first time in 14 years. Welcome home, Yogi. We're so glad to have you back. Timmy sitting along side of Yogi, that's Don Zimmer. Would you like to hear what's going on in that conversation?
Well, the first time that Yogi Berra and Don Zimmer ran into one another was when Don Zimmer was the backup shortstop for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1954, and Yogi Berra won the Most Valuable Player award in the American League for the 3rd time back in '54. So I would imagine they're rehashing some 47 years of baseball.
We're hoping to get Yogi up here with us on Fox 5 and talk to him around the 4th inning. So Yogi will make his way up to the top portion of this stadium, and hopefully he will come on the air with us. And one of the biggest Yankee fans, or one of the bigger Yankee fans, Billy Crystal, always on hand to watch the Yankees. He's mad because he's not in uniform.
One thing, Hideki Irabu has a translator. Orlando Hernandez has a translator, and Yogi's bringing his translator up.
Well, good. Well, we'll have the translator and Yogi alongside him about the 4th inning during this ball game. Well, it's been raining a little bit here at Yankee Stadium. Not really hard, just a light drizzle coming down. Nothing to really, I don't think, dampen the game or dampen the spirits, certainly, of anybody here. And it's going to be a capacity crowd here at this wonderful grand stadium, Yankee Stadium, as you take a look from up above our center field camera, and the field is in perfect shape for this opener.
So many things run through your mind on opening day. As I said, my first opening day here at Yankee Stadium, Bobby, you and I were talking half an hour or so ago, saying that neither one of us have ever seen players introduced during the rain. And that streak still holds because the introductions were called off today.
Well, talking about opening day, as we reminisce a little bit, 36 years ago. 36 years ago, I was a part of opening day ceremonies here at Yankee Stadium against the Detroit Tigers.
As a shortstop.
As a shortstop. Wow. But some familiar names that I remember. Al Kaline was there, Bill Freehand, Norm Cash, of course, Mickey Lolich, and a lot of great names off of that Tiger ball club. You're taking a look at Monument Park here at Yankee Stadium. I suggest, well, I recommend that when you come to Yankee Stadium, you come a little bit early and go out towards left center field here at Yankee Stadium and walk through Monument Park. You talk about chills going up and down your spine as you take a look at those monuments and the history that goes along with the New York Yankees and those 24 World Championships. Plenty of history right there. Chairman of the board alongside Yogi Berra.
Matter of fact, at Monument Park, and it was Monument Park that Tony Gwynn, last year's starting right fielder for the San Diego Padres, went to with his 16-year-old son the day before the World Series started. He said he wanted to get all of the adulation out of the way before he played against the Yankees. And of course, the Yankees won the first 2 games here against San Diego, and they clinched the World Series, as everyone knows, in San Diego. So this is their first game since then.
Tino Martinez, you saw him. He's warming up this Yankee ball club. There's 18 members returning from 1998 on this ball club, but in the last 3 years, this club has won 2 World Championships, and they did it in fine fashion last year, obviously setting a new record in wins with 125 overall. Chuck Knobloch early on in this season has made some spectacular plays at second base, and between Knobloch and Jeter, I don't know of a better double play combination in baseball.
Ben Grieve would probably be hitting close to 500 were it not for Knobloch.
And of course, the closer for the Yankees, Mariano Rivera. You know, you talk about these World Championships here at Yankee Stadium. We've seen Yogi, we've seen the chairman of the board, Whitey Ford, of course, the Scooter Rizzuto. They only have, between those 3 guys, they've been involved in 34 World Championships. Not bad. And the chairman of the board looking fine, and obviously offering some congratulations. One guy that's missing from this opening day ceremonies is Joe DiMaggio, and of course we will remember him forever and what he did for baseball and also for this New York Yankee franchise. We're going to have more when we come back, but right now we're going to go back to the studio. Stay with us. New York Yankees baseball on Fox 5 is brought to you in part by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota every day. And by Red high-speed internet access. Call 1-888-RED-2000 today. And remember, fans, red means go. Buy Ford cars and trucks built for the way you live at your Tri-State Quality Ford store. Welcome back to Yankee Stadium. The light rain continues to fall. And a lot of celebrities and dignitaries on hand, Tim. That's Michael Jordan.
There was a guy right there who was never rained out. No tarps, no nothing.
And of course, Michael injuring his right finger and had surgery on it about, I think about 3.5 weeks ago.
If that's the same finger that he injured before the Bob Hope Chrysler, I think it was with a cigar cutter. He cut his index finger on his right hand. Of course, that's kept him out of basketball action this year, right?
It absolutely kept him out of basketball and golf action.
Yeah,
and
right.
that just goes to show you shouldn't be handling those tobacco products. They're very dangerous in many ways. Well, capacity crowd due here at Yankee Stadium for the home opener here in 1999, and lots of high fives. The Yankees started on the road in Oakland playing the first 3, and of course, as we take a look along the left field, just beyond the left field wall, all the numbers that have been retired here at Yankee Stadium. Number 7, of course, Mickey Mantle, and what Mickey meant to this franchise. Such a great guy, and of course, Yogi. Coming up, that's 2 times that number has been retired, along with Bill Dickey. Man, I'll tell you what, you talk about a thrill. Walking just amongst those numbers and the monuments and all the things that you can see out there that represent the history of this franchise. And of course, Yogi back for the first time since, well, 14 years ago. Back in uniform with that famous Yankee hat on top of his head. He will throw out the ceremonial first pitch to start this 1999 campaign. Of course, the chairman of the board, Tim.
2 times 8 is 16. By the way, the reason Yogi did not come back, he was fired by George Steinbrenner. George Steinbrenner called him this winter. He apologized to Yogi. He went to his museum. He asked Yogi if he would come back, and Yogi said, that's all I needed was an apology, and here he is this afternoon.
And alongside Yogi will be his lovely wife, Carmen, who accompanied him to the stadium today. So Carmen will be enjoying the ball game. And Yogi and Carmen, what a great 2 people they are.
And just think, for $250 more, Yogi Berra would have been a St. Louis Cardinal. The Yankees offered him $500 in 1943. The Cardinals offered him $250. He said, give me $250 more and I'll sign with St. Louis. He's from the Hill in St. Louis, an Italian section there in St. Louis. The Cardinals did not want to do it because Ranch Rickey was the farm director at the time. So for $250, Yogi Berra could have been a Cardinal. Hard to believe.
Seems like the Yankees didn't overpay for a player this time.
No, they didn't. No, that's a pretty good bargain right there, folks.
Pretty darn good bargain for $250 more. Of course, Yogi growing up in St. Louis and has a lot of great friends and family back in that area and lives in New Jersey here around the tri-state area. That's Chris Chambliss meeting with the umpires now at home plate, along with Larry Parrish, and of course Bob Merrill will be singing the national anthem. I forget how many years Bob has been doing this, but it wouldn't be an opening day without a song from Bob Merrill.
You're going to see a guy on the mound today make a lot of pitches, but that guy just on your screen was a guy with perfect pitch.
Flags are blowing. About medium wind, I guess you would say, left to right field. Of course, the number 5 on the sleeve of every Yankee, both the home uniform and the road uniform, in memory of Joe DiMaggio, who passed away just recently. And Joe D had been throwing out the ceremonial first pitch here at Yankee Stadium for as long as I can remember. And of course, he will certainly be missed, but his legacy and his history will be talked about for a lifetime.
The Yankee Clipper was all of that.
Well, it looks like David Cohn has finished his warm-up tosses, so along with Mel Stottlemyre and Joe Girardi, who will be catching Cohn this afternoon, they make their way in from center field. And we will wait the ceremonial first pitch from Yogi and then the first pitch from David Cohn to this somewhat young Detroit Tiger Ball Club. And Larry Parrish has kind of mixed that lineup up today. He's got some guys in there that normally wouldn't play, and we'll be talking more about that when we go over the lineup. But David Cohn with he's the spokesperson of this ball club, and what a job he has done here at Yankee Stadium with his 48 wins since becoming a Yankee. This at Yankee Stadium today, the unveiling of Joe DiMaggio and one of his famous lines, "I want to thank the good Lord for making me a Yankee." And we're all grateful of that, for sure. Joe DiMaggio and his sweet swing and the way he used to glide in the outfield, and has and have the respect of every player that's ever played the game of baseball.
Yeah, we had a shot at Michael Jordan there, and everyone knows how effortlessly Michael Jordan went through his remarkable athletic skills. Well, Joe DiMaggio, reminiscent of number 23 right there, and the way he went about his business effortlessly. And anybody who's ever played, I'm sure, the game of basketball or the game of baseball knows how very difficult it is.
A lot of talk surrounding Michael Jordan and maybe purchasing a part of a NBA franchise down in Charlotte. I don't know how serious that is, but they said, yeah, we've had some talks, some ongoing talks about maybe getting involved in basketball in a different capacity, that being on the ownership side.
Think he could afford it?
I don't think he will have to go for a loan, no. And of course, basketball will be they will be lucky to get Michael Jordan back into that game. And it looked like the Yankees are taking the field for the home opener here in 1999. Umbrellas are still up, but the rain is not heavy. It's just a light drizzle. Capacity crowd on hand. This year, the Yankees have sold 2 million tickets already. First time in the history that this franchise has reached the 2 million mark in preseason sales.
Ladies and gentlemen, before our anthem,
let's go down on the field now, and Bob Shepard.
May we ask for a few moments of silent prayer as we remember Joe DiMaggio.
Now let's go back to Bob Shepard and the introduction of Yogi.
3 MVP awards, and is a member of baseball's Hall of Fame. He played on 10 World Championship teams, an accomplishment yet to be matched by any other player in the history of the game. He caught Don Larsen's perfect game in 5 of the 1956 World Series against the Dodgers. A true leader, man of conviction, and source of strength to his teammates. Let's welcome home number 8, Yogi Berra, number 8.
I saw Yogi before the game, and I said, "Are you going to cheat today?" He said, "I have to. I can't throw it from the rubber. I've got to be on the grass." Oh boy!
I just don't know if it can get any better than what we've already seen here to open up the season at Yankee Stadium in 1999. We're going to have the start of this game coming up right after these commercials. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back to opening day here in 1999. The Yankees and the Tigers face off this afternoon. Today's starting Yankee lineup. Check that the Detroit Tiger lineup. Catalanato will lead it off. He'll be followed by Greg Jeffries, Damon Easley, Bobby Higginson, Dean Palmer, Kareem Garcia, Gabe Kapler, Brad Ausmus, and then Debbie Cruz.
Defensively for the Yankees, Curtis, Williams, O'Neill in the outfield, Brocious, Jeter, Knobloch, Martinez. Joe Girardi caught 30 of 31 starts for David Cohn last year. That's why he's behind the plate today.
David Cone with the start on opening day here at Yankee Stadium. 20-7 last year. 48-17 lifetime with the New York Yankees. And the first pitch is Catalanotto swinging and fouling it, backing out of play.
It took Frank Catalanotto a while to get to opening day at Yankee Stadium. He's from Smithtown, from Long Island. His mom and dad never used to let him come to opening day because they didn't want him to miss school. Well, he's finally here as a leadoff batter and a first baseman. How many first basemen lead off?
I don't know, but he led off by being hit by a pitch from David Cone, so he's the first base runner in this game. Catalanotto, we expected to see Tony Clark playing this afternoon at first base, so a surprise start for the New Yorker. I'm sure he's glad about that, along with his family. Now Greg Jeffries, the designated hitter, will step in. Jeffries, that is, DHing for the first time in his career. And that pitch in there for a call strike. Jeffries with no home runs and a couple of RBIs on the year. Talking to him before today's ball game and talking about switching to that DH role and what will you do. And he said, I'm ready. In fact, before I signed with the Tigers, they told me, and I accepted the fact that I would be the DH.
Greg, a DH with a Gold Glove clause in his contract. Why not, right?
Might as well get Puerto Rican in there. Good stop by Girardi. I wonder how much the Gold Glove is worth. I'm glad you brought that up.
I guess the Tigers are saying, well, why not? He's going to be the DH. Right. Why not? For sure.
And put MVP and put whatever. Larry Parrish, the skipper for the Tigers, took over from Buddy Bell last year, so this is his first full year. Parrish, a more aggressive type of manager, more so than Bell was. Check swing foul off to the right side. So Cone will work to Jeffries. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
It's interesting. A lot of swings at split finger fastballs are almost swings like the pitcher threw them. See a lot of split finger fastballs, and watch the check swing by Jeffries. Totally fooled on the play. And one thing about Greg Jeffries, he can flat hit, and he could hit since coming up with the Mets in 1988.
He's one what you would call a contact hitter. He does not strike out much, puts the ball in play. He has some power, but most of the time he's just kind of hitting the ball to all field. And he swings and fouls that pitch back out of play. Always good if you can put the ball in play. Damon Easley waiting on deck. What I mean is if you put the ball in play, most of the time you got a chance to get a hit. Somebody told me it's better to do that than strike out. You don't get many hits striking out. Hill 1-2 on Jeffries, nobody out. And another foul back and out of play. But I think it's important for a guy who has been an everyday position player. And before he came and signed with the Tigers, they all came to the conclusion that it's going to be all right, and I accept my role as the designated hitter. Now he'll just have to find out what it's like to become the DH and what do I do in between at bats. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Well, Cone gets his first strikeout of the game on that good split finger.
That was wicked right there.
Yeah, we were just talking about Jeffries not striking out much.
He does not strike out. As a matter of fact, 3 years ago, he was second to Tony Gwynn in the fewest strikeouts per at bats in the National League. But that was a wicked splitter from David Cone.
So Cone with his first strikeout and the first out of the game. Stottlemyre always with a watchful eye when one of his pitchers goes out on the mound, and Damon Easley will step in. Easley has 1 home run and 3 RBIs already here in 1999. What a fine young player he is, and a guy that can do it all. I mean, he's got good power for a second baseman. Better power than most second basemen would have. Catalanotto leading off at first.
Matter of fact, Damon Easley the last 2 years with 49 home runs. Only one major league second baseman with more. That's Jeff Kent of the San Francisco Giants. Jeff with 59. He had 46 of those 49 as a second baseman. The other 3 as a DH.
This time the breaking ball on the outside corner, so it's 1-1 now to Easley. Easley, just like most of the players do today, they work out with weights. He's a lot stronger than he was 4 or 5 years ago. In fact, he and Tony Clark work out together in the wintertime, and Easley has a batting cage at his house, and so Clark and Easley, they take batting practice throughout the winter. Of course, they could do that today.
Write the batting cage off as a cost of doing business.
Why not?
Absolutely.
And if you're smart enough, there's Tony Clark. He gets the afternoon off with Catalanado playing first base. I think that's a break for the Yankees, to tell you the truth, but Clark does not have a good record against David Cohn. Another good pitch on the outside corner. Now it's 1-2.
Yeah, but in this ballpark, Bobby, you know, 314 down the line, left-handers are paying to get in this park to hit. Good slider from David Cohn. Might sit Tony Clark out against a left-hander, but the way I look at it, I don't care what his numbers are against David Cohn. He's got to be in there.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's the reason I said it's a break for the Yankees.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
To have Clark in.
Absolutely. I'm sure if you ask David Cohn, he may not tell you the truth, but he'd think.
He's happy too.
Absolutely. Betcha.
1-2 strike count to Easley. 1 man out, 1 man on for the Tigers. Catalanado takes off, and Girardi's throw is perfect. What in the world? It looked like he was out. Girardi is stunned, and it looked like that maybe Knobloch's tag was a little bit late.
Well, one of the problems with catching the ball in front of the bag and bringing the tag back is what happened right here. See, Knobloch catches the ball in front of the bag, brings it back. If you straddle the bag, it looked like the foot was in there, however. Can't tell from that angle, but it looked to me like the foot was in there and the tag was on the knee. But normally you get that call because the ball beat him.
I give a lot of credit to Ted Hendry as Easley swings and misses for another strikeout. 2 by Cohn, now 2 outs. But I give a lot of credit to Ted Hendry just based on what you said there. If the ball, you know, beats the guy, normally they go ahead and automatically call him out. As we take another look at that strikeout.
Ted Hendry coming under fire during the American League Championship Series last year, both as a home plate umpire. Then he was hit by a ball a couple of games later. But to me, that was a good call right there.
Bobby Higginson now will step in with the runner down at second base. Strike 1 to Higginson. So Cohn throwing strikes here in the top half of the first inning. Higginson 2 for 11 on the year so far with a home run, 3 RBIs. Probably the only guy that has an everyday job in the outfield here for the Tigers. They are playing 2 or 3 guys in center field, 2 or 3 guys in left field, waiting for somebody to step up and take an everyday job.
That's a good point, Bobby, because the Tigers, and you talk to Larry Parrish, Larry saying that you got 1 regular right fielder and 4 guys who are semi-regular.
Field the bat down the right field line. Long run for O'Neill, and he bangs up against the wall as he makes the catch. I hope O'Neill is all right, but if you saw the games in Oakland, this ball club played some kind of defense. Tigers are gone, and the Yankees are coming up. All right, welcome back to Yankee Stadium. That's the rookie right-hander waiting to face this Yankee lineup, brought to you by Thumans, Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill, Bernie Williams, Martinez, a designated hitter Chili Davis, followed by Chad Curtis, who has a couple of home runs, Scott Brocious, and then Joe Girardi.
Defensively for the Tigers, Garcia, Kapler, Higginson in the outfield, Dean Palmer, Debbie Cruz, a good defensive left side, Easley, Catalanado at first base, Brad Osmus with a good throwing arm behind the plate.
And that is Baker Grotterall. And he has never pitched in the major leagues. This is his major league debut, and what a debut it is here at Yankee Stadium facing the world champion New York Yankees. And the first pitch that he throws is over for a called strike. Knobloch 3 for 11 on the season. You got to expect, and from the Yankees side, I'm sure they will make Graterol throw strikes. They could be a little bit nervous, you know, and give him a chance to get wild. But so far, a fastball for a strike and now a curveball for a strike. Last pitched in AAA at Syracuse. And because Bryce Flory got hurt and was scheduled to start today, he starts in his place. So that pitch fouled back out of play. Now it's 0-2 on Knobloch.
Graterol from Barquisimeto, Venezuela. He becomes the 108th Venezuelan player in the major leagues. 25 of those Venezuelan players are either active or on the disabled list, major league rosters, as we speak.
Inside for the first ball. Now it's 1-2.
Here we go.
Just to back that up a little bit. On deck is Derek Jeter, followed by Paul O'Neill. Into center field. Easy play for a guy by the name of Gabe Kapler. You're going to hear a lot about him. And he's one of those guys that we were talking about that's battling for a everyday job, but a young rookie.
Our General Motors pitching report on Baker Graterol, sinker slider, and it's a very unusual combination for a pitcher to have both a splitter and a changeup. Both are off-speed pitches for the most part. Some pitchers throw harder splitters than others, but it's very unusual to have both of those pitches.
And this is Derek Jeter. And the first pitch hit hard, and a nice play by Catalanato at first base. Tough play for the first baseman when the batter goes the opposite way.
That ball squirting away from him. Catalanato smothering that ball, and an easy play. He's got the physical, facial characteristics of Rico Brogna, who's from the New York area. He's from Connecticut. Of course, Rico, a home run for the Phillies last night, but he reminds me a little bit of Brogna. Rico, a left-handed thrower, of course.
Well, what a thrill it's got to be for him.
Oh, yeah.
And his family. 2 away for New York, and Paul O'Neill will step in. He's swinging well the hot bats early on for the Yankees. 5 for 11 in this season, and he has 5 doubles. All 5 hits have been doubles.
Everything to left field. Went 0 for his first 5, 5 for his last 8. You could see the Detroit scouting report. They've got Kapler in center field, shading Paul toward left center.
Hey, look, if you're going to play him away, you might as well pitch him away. And Larry Parrish, he's got all his people positioned for O'Neill to go the opposite way.
Yep.
I never understood, especially when I played in center field. We would go over the scouting reports. We'd be playing a guy a certain way, and the pitcher would be pitching him the opposite.
A lot of times that's a catcher's fault, too, because the catcher can see the defense, and the catcher's more in tune with how the hitter's going to be worked than the pitcher anyway. That's why I like a straightaway defensive outfield for the most part. Because if you pitch him, if you shade him one way, you've got to pitch him that way, and it doesn't leave enough imagination between the pitcher and the catcher to use all of his equipment.
Lance Parrish, who has joined this ball club as a coach, one of Larry Parrish's coaches for 1999. Talking about a catcher, he did a fine job during his playing days behind home plate. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to O'Neill with 2 men out here in the bottom of the first for the Yankees. No score this game so far. This is the first of a 3-game series. The Tigers will be back tomorrow and also on Sunday. And that famous Paul O'Neill swing, which really looks unorthodox, but he gets the job done.
Talk about a guy going to left field. Watch Paul O'Neill. If that's not a left field stroke, I don't know what is. But as you said, Bobby, unorthodox, stepping on the plate after he swings.
And, of course, we've talked a lot about his conversation with Ted Williams during spring training. And Joe Welly is on hand to watch this opener, too. Joe Namath. Broadway Joe.
He could probably tell us who's going to win today.
No, that's only in the championship.
I got
it's
you.
only the championship
Only in the
game.
Super Bowl,
Yeah.
right?
Regular season, you leave it up to somebody else. Ball 4 to O'Neill, so O'Neill becomes the first Yankee runner. Now to bring up Bernie Williams. When you look up and down this Yankee lineup with Bernie batting fourth, there is no let up for anybody. I don't care if you're a veteran pitcher or you're a rookie pitcher. Behind Williams, you got Martinez. If you think you're going to get any let up there, then you got Chili Davis, Curtis, Brocious, and then Girardi. Bernie looking for his first home run, but he does have a couple of RBIs. And that pitch in there for a called strike. I would think, you know, that each hitter would go up facing this young rookie right-hander for the first time. Just look at one pitch, just kind of get the feel of the velocity and to see if the ball is moving or whatever. Give the kid one strike just to see him for the first time. There goes O'Neill, and the pitch is fouled back and out of play. That was not a hit and run. That was a straight steal with 2 outs. But we saw Dom Zimmer do this in Oakland, where he was moving the runners, hit and run. They were very aggressive on the base pass.
Did it with Chili Davis and Jorge Posada out there. Runners on at first and second, nobody out. They were successful. Paul O'Neill tries to lull you to sleep, stealing 15 of 16 tries last year.
He's got great instincts on the base pass. And the 0-2 pitch is swung on to miss, strike 3. So Williams strikes out, and the Yankees will leave a man on here in the first inning. We've played one here in the home opener. No score. All right, back at Yankee Stadium. Bobby Mercer along with Tim McCarver. We go to the top of the second inning. No score between the Tigers and the Yankees. And still raining lightly here at the stadium, but nothing to really dampen the spirits of anybody.
That's one of the most hideous words for ball players and fans alike. And the word is intermittent.
Well, we've talked a lot about opening day here, and that's not bad.
Not too shabby.
I hope he didn't pay a whole lot of money for that.
No, he didn't. That looks homemade to me.
Yeah, we've been talking a whole lot about opening day, and David Cone, this is his third opening day start since he's been a Yankee. So on our American Express quote book, it's going to be something special. Yankee Stadium opening day. There's nothing like it, and I'll have to ditto that.
Most starts consecutively since Whitey's Ford started from 1960 through 1964, 5 years in a row. This is David's third consecutive start.
And we bring up Dean Palmer to lead it off for the Tigers here in the second inning. Strike 1 to Palmer. So both pitchers, even though it's a little bit cool and damp out here this afternoon, they have good feel for the strike zone. Palmer, a big acquisition in the free agent market for the Tigers. The Tigers went after Caminiti. They were unable to sign him. They wanted him for third base, and then they ended up with Palmer with a big contract and lots of power from this right-handed batter. This time he pops it up, and Brocious takes care of it, so 1 gone.
Yeah, the Tigers were woefully short in what is considered a power position. They only had 14 home runs from the third base position. That was third lowest in the major leagues, and that's why they went out to get a guy who could bash, and Palmer can bash. Alan Trammell, what a great player he was for so long with Detroit.
Of course, Alan, the hitting instructor now for this ball club, and working with a lot of these young players. This is Kareem Garcia. If they will listen to Alan Trammell, they will learn a whole lot. Allen saying that before today's ball game, he said, I still get jitters on opening day. I don't care where it is. I said, well, I think everybody does. So Cone now has worked the count 0-2 on Garcia. On deck is Gabe Kapler.
Alan Trammell as a shortstop, a 285 hitter, almost 2,400 hits, Hall of Fame candidate. He is in my book.
Missing inside for a ball. I don't remember anything other than Alan Trammell and Whitaker.
Yeah.
At the duo combination.
I think they played together 16, 17 years. The longest double play combination in the history of the game. Yeah.
Well, you talk about knowing somebody and knowing what their tendencies are, right?
Played together in the minor leagues.
Maybe they knew a little bit too much. Can that happen? A little tap for easy play for Cone. And there's 2 gone.
Of course, the Los Angeles Dodgers had that infield that played together. Steve Garvey, Bill Russell, Davey Lopes, Ron Say. They played together for a long time, but that middle not as long as Trammell and Whitaker.
I played 1 year with Bobby Richardson. It didn't work out for me.
Bobby and Tony for about 11 years here for the Yankees from 57. Tony, the Rookie of the Year in 57. Retired in 65, right? Gave a young 19-year-old from Oklahoma a chance to play short. Bobby Mercer.
We won't talk much about that, okay? Talking about the Tony Kubek and Bobby Richardson. That's the 62 World Championship Ball Club. This is Gabe Kapler. And it's 2 breaking balls, and it's 0-2 to the rookie center fielder.
Bobby Richardson making the last putout on that scorching line drive by Willie McCovey.
Willie McCovey in San Francisco.
Yeah, there's Tony right there.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. So his introduction to David Cone was not nice as Cone strikes out his 3rd. We played an inning and a half. Still no score here at the stadium. All right, the Yankees coming to bat here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Fox 5 and the Toyota dealers are proud to present World Championship New York Yankee Baseball, now available on the SAP channel of your television. Please don't miss it. Number 24, Tino Martinez will step in. Tino with another big year for the Yankees in 1998 with those 28 home runs. 123 runs batted in. And I'm still amazed at all the things that Tino Martinez has done for this Yankee ball club besides play an excellent first base and put up those numbers as far as RBIs. You just still don't hear much about Martinez and what his numbers are. I guess you would say he's the silent killer.
Tell you what kind of category he fits into after this pitch. Talked about Monument Park before the game, and you can't help but just be overwhelmed in some ways with all the numbers and the great tradition of this franchise and this stadium. There are only 4 players in Yankee history who have driven in 120 or more runs 2 consecutive years. Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Martinez.
Two balls and a strike down to Tino.
Iron Horse.
Iron Horse. Martinez with 20 home runs. There's the babe. When you talk about home runs, his name comes up first. Home run, could it be? Back is Higginson. He will look up, and it's gone. Tino Martinez, we talked about his home runs last year, puts his first on the board here in '99, and it's 1-0 New York. Tino Martinez now lifetime against the Tigers with 21 home runs career-wise.
A sinker. You can see Osmus sitting outside, and that pitch tailing over the outside part of the plate. Tino Martinez with home run number 1 on the year.
Chili Davis now will step in. The switch hitter hits this one hard and finds the gap for a base hit. Big wide gap between first and second.
Get an idea of where this pitch was. Osmus sitting outside, but you can see the middle of the plate right there. The pitch not getting to Osmus's glove. Got to a glove of a fan out in right field.
Yankees strike first, and still nobody out. Now Davis is on at first base. Chad Curtis, who leads this Yankee ball club with 2 home runs. I mean, he hit 2 monstrous home runs at the Coliseum in Oakland. Just on a hunch from Don Zimmer. Playing him in the second game of that 3-game set.
You know, you say Don plays a hunch, and Don will tell you that he plays a hunch, but his hunches are better hunches than normal hunches. If you get my drift.
I think I got it. And certainly Oakland got it too.
Yeah. Chad Curtis, the first time up in the second inning of both games. One on a knuckleball, one on a fastball, almost the identical place in left center field at the Alameda Coliseum.
Right down low. Of course, we're talking about you know, choosing between Curtis, Ricky Leday, or Shane Spencer to play left field against the knuckleballer. He said, well, I just felt like that Curtis had more experience, and my hunch was that he would do a better job.
Ricky Leday going 0 for 4 opening day, a game that was lost with 3 strikeouts in that game. Game lost by the Yankees, then they won the next 2.
0-2 pitch missing outside. Now it's 1-2 on Curtis. Still nobody out. Yankees now lead at 1-0 on that Martinez home run. Well, quite a contrast in today's weather as compared to what it was here in New York yesterday. It couldn't have been any better, with temperatures about 75 or 80 degrees, and then all of a sudden overnight cold front swept in here along with some light rain, and pretty cool and damp here at the stadium this afternoon. Not ideal opening day weather, but it's acceptable. Good stop by Osmus. One of these days, Tim, I'm going to be able to say this is a beautiful day for baseball.
Well, the Yankees took the weather from Oakland with them on their charter Wednesday afternoon after the game. This is similar to the weather that they played in all 3 games in Oakland.
2 balls, 2 strikes down to Curtis. That'll be foul back, foul play. The one thing that Gratterall, I guess is the proper pronunciation, is the fact that he doesn't strike out many hitters. The hitters will put the ball in play.
Most sinker slider pitchers are not strikeout pitchers. The reason for that, they've got to keep the ball down. And how many hitters do you know that swing through the fastball or the slider down in the strike zone unless it's below the knees or in the dirt, like a splitter? The pitch down in the strike zone is a pitch designed to be put in play. Sometimes hitters find the hole, but what Gratterall would like right now is to have him hit a ball hard at somebody to give the defense a chance to turn a double play. Fastball away here.
And it's on the ground. Off the glove of Easley, but they are able to throw out Chili Davis at second base. It looked for a moment like there that they were going to turn the double play, and then once it bounced off the glove, of course, Chili didn't get that good jump off of first base.
And Easley got the in-between hop. Usually, if an infielder, and that means any infielder, going to his right, if he makes a play like that, it's got to be in the webbing of the glove. If that ball hits in the heel of the glove, that's a harder part of the glove. And usually something like that happens. But fortunately for the Tigers, the ball comes right back to Easley, and he flips to Cruz for the force out.
Had the best fielding percentage of all second basemen last year. Easley did. This is Brocious, and a strike 1 to Brocious, looking for his first base hit of the year.
Watch how easily goes to his right. The ball hits the heel of the glove. And as we said, fortunately for the Tigers, and easily, who went 59 consecutive games without an error during one streak last year. Ball came back to him, and he got the force out.
Well, they got the lead runner. That's the main thing. That's fouled off the foot of Brocious. And now it's 0-2 on Brocious.
There are so many interesting things when you talk about the Yankee lineup. You look at Knobloch, you look at Jeter, you look at O'Neill, and you look at Brocious. When they, if not cut down on their swing, their thinking is the other way with 2 strikes. No balls and 2 strikes, open hole on the right.
A 5 for a ball. Now it's 1-2.
The best way to counter that from a pitching catching standpoint is with 2 strikes, change your pattern in trying to get a guy out. Come inside a little bit more.
One of the reasons the Yankees checked out to the Tigers last year, they changed their whole catching department, was they wanted to bring in a guy like Osmus to handle some of these young pitchers that they had. They went with young catchers last year. That didn't work out, so they said, look, we don't need that. We need to bring somebody in that has the experience, is known as one of the better defensive catchers, and can work with young players. Along with Bill Hasselman as the backup catcher for the Tigers.
Fastball inside. Oh, going away. I think that 2 fingers and 1 finger, 2 signs without a guy being on second means to throw to first base. And that's one of the reasons that the game has slowed down as much as it has, because the pickoff signs coming from the bench. Usually if you see a catcher, there it is again. Now they're coming inside with the fastball.
And the fastball fouled over towards the Tiger dugout. Brocious trying to hang tough. A little bit of water dripping off the helmet. He's 0 for 10. Last year with 19 home runs and 98 RBIs, hitting in that famed 7th, 8th, and 9th slot, but mostly the 8th slot. That's where he is today for the Yankees. And what a year, and what numbers he put up after having a bad year the year before. Pitch out. Curtis not going anywhere. Now it's 2-2.
Sometimes you talk a team into running. They're not running, and all of a sudden you pitch out and they say, hey, maybe we should be running. I'd look for Curtis to go here.
Curtis holds, and the breaking ball outside. Now Brocious battling the count to 3 balls and 2 strikes after being down 0-2.
Now you can bet your U-Haul it he's going here. Say U-Haul it instead of house, because U-Haul it more conducive to the early season with guys packing up and coming north. Still bags in the clubhouse.
No U-Haul here, and it's hit deep and high to left field. Looking up is Garcia, and it is gone. Scott Brocious 0 for 10 on the air, but lands a 2-run shot here in the 2nd inning, and the Yankees lead it 3-0.
Three-2 pitch with Curtis running right down the pipe. 2nd home run of the inning and the game. First hit for Scott Brocious on the season. And that double play ball that could have been turned and wasn't. A big play in this inning. That ball right on the meat of the bat right there.
Well, you talk about a nice caption there. I mean, that was a perfect home run swing. Everything was in place if you talk about fundamentals. Now Joe Girardi gets his chance against Gratterall. Girardi still looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3. He did catch Roger Clemens in the opener out in Oakland. And then Posada caught the next 2 games. Well, what a great combination the Yankees could put up. Not only a guy in the 8th slot that could hit you a lot of home runs and drive you in a lot of runs, but the catching duo that the Yankees have with Girardi and Posada.
I was talking to Rick Adair, the pitching coach of the Detroit Tigers, before the game, and he was telling me, he said, you know, the Yankees have 2 #1 catchers. If Girardi were #1 on a ball club, and he certainly could be, he'd be the guy that could catch 115 games a year. Of course, when you say a #1 catcher, you're not talking about a guy who can catch 150 games a year. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 130 to 135.
Well, Joe came over here billed as a #1 guy, but since that time, Posada, with his emergence as a good catcher, has taken over that #1 slot. If you say per se #1, they still work closely together. Joe always working with Posada to help him out with whatever he knows about catching. That's really unusual in baseball to have 2 guys working together like that for the same job. Good pitch by Gratterall on the outside corner, and he strikes out Girardi, so 2 gone now here in the 2nd.
Fastball that tail back over the plate. You can see it start outside and then tail back over the corner. Good pitch by Gratterall.
Well, each member of this Yankee ball club, they've had a chance to take a look at this rookie right-hander, and Chuck Knobloch now will come up for the 2nd time. He flied out to center field. I think Girardi thought that ball was outside. He was headed towards first base thinking it was a walk.
Sometimes you as a hitter, Bobby, and I know, you know, it happened to you, it happened to me a ton of times. You give up on that pitch outside, and when you see it, often as a hitter, you don't feel like it's a strike, but when you see it, for instance, later on in your career, on the monitor, stuff like that, you see it's a strike.
Cruz at short, throwing out Knobloch. What a big inning for the Yankees, though. A couple of home runs highlighted by that Brocious 2-run shot. Yankees now lead it 3-0. Here come the Tigers in the top of the 3rd inning. Catcher Brad Ausmus, that is. He's 4 for 7. And Ausmus with a home run already, but the Yankees with 2-run shots in the 2nd inning now lead it 3-0. He'll be followed by Cruz, and then everybody will have had a chance to face David Cone. Yes, Brocious with a 2-run shot in the 2nd. Up high for a ball. Now it's 3-0.
David a little miffed with himself with the 3-run lead. Finds himself behind Ausmus, 3-0.
Well, Tony did his first 3-ball count, and that's his first walk in this game. Al Stottlemyre looking on. It has been in the past since Coney a couple of years ago with that aneurysm surgery. In cold weather, Tim, he's had a little bit of a problem with his feel, you know, on his fingertips, and sometimes the cold weather really bothers him.
Circulation problems, fortunately corrected with that aneurysm operation, and then David coming back to pitch Game 3 in the 1996 World Series with the Yankees down 2-0. What a huge game that was.
His highest month as far as earned run average is concerned is early in the season, like the month of April. Swinging a miss by swinging a foul back by Cruz, but that may have something to do with that feeling in his fingers.
Of course, last year his worst month as far as fingers were concerned was early June when he was bitten by his mother-in-law's dog.
Oh, that terrible terrier.
Yeah.
Playing with those big vicious dogs, and those sharp teeth kind of grabbed him on the pitching finger, and he had to miss a start.
You remember the great Peter Sellers line from the Pink Panther? Does your dog bite? And it bit him, and that is not my dog, my mother-in-law's.
Andy Pettit in uniform this afternoon. Andy did throw yesterday, so that's a great sign that that ankle that he injured in agility drills is all right. That's another pitch out of play. But Andy here, of course, for Sunday's ceremony, as they will give out the World Championship rings. And this was today before the game, Andy warming up, and it appears that he is all right. Obviously, if he pitched yesterday, that ankle's got to be pretty good shape. That'll bring a smile to your face, too, when you know that you may not be set back as many days as you thought. Swing and a miss on a pitch way out of the strike zone. So Cone now with his 4th strikeout of the game. So Cruz is down. That'll bring up Catalanado.
Watch how far off the plate this slider is. You think David Cone doesn't do his homework. Devi Cruz last year walked 13 times in 467 official at-bats. So he will swing at anything. So once you're ahead, you're foolish to throw him a strike. And David Cone didn't. Here's a situation where normally a catcher on at first base, you play Tino Martinez behind him with the 3-run lead, but Osmus can run.
And it would be good if Tino could do that, since the left-handed batter in Catalanado is up there. There's a big hole between first and second. Like Joe Girardi, you know, Joe can run too, so you got to hold him on. Not the typical catcher, you know, that you saw back in the 60s or whatever.
Now, wait a minute. I was waiting for that. I didn't mean to lead you into it, but I was waiting for it. I thought it might come at least before the season was out. Runs well for a catcher.
Okay.
One of the more hideous remarks in the game. Runs well for a catcher. There are a lot of catchers that can run in the game today. As a matter of fact, Jason Kendall's leading off for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pudge Rodriguez with the Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
He runs well. Herman Munson ran well. 1 ball, 1 strike to Catalanado. That's into right field. O'Neill broke back for a moment, but able to catch back up on it. One of the toughest plays for the outfielder is that full swing from the hitter and hit it off the end of the bat. Your tendency is to break back first.
See O'Neill breaking back on that left foot, and then Paul recovers in time. The ball had enough hang time for Paul to make an easy play.
O'Neill looking up. It is still raining here at the stadium as Jeffries steps in. Jeffries struck out back in the 1st inning. That was after we built him up so high about being a contact hitter, and he made us look good. Not the easiest day as a hitter with that rain coming down in between you and the pitcher, and of course the water dripping off your helmet. Any little distraction for a hitter during the sequence of pitches is a big distraction because it takes your concentration away. Two men are out for the Tigers here in the top of the 3rd. Yankees lead it 3-0. Now Cone goes inside for a ball, now 2-1. Gratterall awaiting his turn back out in the bottom of the 3rd, keeping that hand warm. Down low, nice stop by Girardi. Two things that could happen as the rain continues to come down. The mound gets gummy, and your cleats start to pick up all of that clay around the mound. Your fingers are cold. They're a little bit wet. There goes the runner, and the pitch is down low, ball 4. So now Cone has walked 2 in this inning. The only 2 base runners. And the only 2 men in the game so far. So that'll bring up Damon Easley.
Mel Stottlemyre telling us before the game that he and Don Zimmer will be looking at somewhere from 100 to 110 pitches for David Cone. One time during spring training, David threw 104 pitches. So somewhere in that area, he'll be looking to remove him go to the bullpen.
And the breaking ball, first pitch up high for a ball. Easily struck out his first time up. A good fastball hitter. Easily also from New York. Makes it pretty tough when you come back home and you got to leave a lot of tickets on opening day. And it's sold out, and you know that there's not a whole lot of tickets available, if any.
I think it's tough playing from in front of a home crowd anyway. For a visiting player to come in puts an awful lot of pressure on you. Not that you're looking to hide or anything like that, but you mentioned the tickets or the expectations that come with family members and friends, things like that.
Popped up down the right field line. It looks like O'Neill has a beat on it. It's out of play. O'Neill has been busy in right field early in this game. So Cone will work in front now, 1-2. A gun for an arm in right field, and O'Neill gets rid of the ball quick, and he stops a lot of runners from going from first to third. Always high in the assist department.
Always catches the ball where you're supposed to catch it. Around the shoulders, always ready to throw. So much of baseball is habit, whether it's hitting, throwing, or fielding.
Nice stop by Girardi. Now it's 2-2. Higginson on deck. Easily with lots of power for a second baseman. Breaking ball swung out and missed strike 3. Cone knowing that Easley is a great fastball hitter. And he strikes him out for the second time. The Tigers leave a couple of men on. We go to the bottom of the third. Yankees in front by 3. Well, back at the stadium, the ground crew tending to the field right now, putting some of that, I guess you would call it turfus, out on the infield to dry it up. So while we have a chance, we want to remind you that the beginning of the season for the Yankees here at Yankee Stadium. Tomorrow, the Tigers at 1:30 right here on Fox 5. It'll be the rocket being launched for the first time here at Yankee Stadium. So Roger Clemens goes for the Yankees. And then, of course, Sunday, a big day, something that every player that signs a contract hope that they can do is receive their World Championship rings, and they're going to give those out on Sunday afternoon. I hope that if you're unable to get here to the stadium, that you'll watch it on Fox 5, because it really, truly is an emotional ceremony.
You know, I have not, there you see Joe Girardi, Don Zimmer, of course, recipients of rings, but I have not asked Roger what his thoughts are going to be on Sunday. But I would be interested in finding what Roger Clemens' thoughts are going to be when World Series rings are being given out and he's not a part of it. Because that's certainly one of the reasons he elected to come to New York. He didn't want to come 2 years ago when he was a free agent. But
all I
this
can say
time
is
around,
that was his own fault.
Yeah. Oh, that
it was
absolutely.
his own choice.
Absolutely.
He could have had 2 on his fingers.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
But I think that's a good sign, too, for the Yankees, not only because he brings the 5 Cy Youngs and a great pitcher of all time, but the fact that, you know, a lot of people were talking about maybe the Yankees being complacent this year. I think with Roger here and the intensity that he has and wanting to win the first championship in his career, that may combat that complacency the Yankees could fall into. Well, anyway, Derek Jeter leads it off for the Yankees here in the bottom of the third. Jeter 0 for 1, grounding out to Catalanado at first base. Flash down the right field line. If it stays buried, it is trouble, and it's just foul. Of course, as a right fielder, you still have to play that ball down the line just in case the umpire calls it foul or fair. So Higginson doing what he's supposed to do.
Have a look at Drew Coble, the first base umpire, and some fans may not realize that there is no pointing that umpires do that the ball is foul. This ball is just foul, by the way. But when the umpire throws up the 2 hands, that means the ball is foul. Out at the ballpark, and a lot of folks, either a field goal or the ball is foul, right?
What'd you say, my friend? We're going to get Yogi hooked up here. We're going to have a conversation with the Yogi as Jeter takes one down low for a ball, 2-1.
I think Yogi cheated a little bit more than he told us he was going to do today.
That's down low for a ball. Yogi, welcome home, buddy. I'll tell you what, it was great to see you out there on the field, and I don't care if you cheated or not.
Well, I made it reach anyhow. What the heck?
I'll tell you what, it just hasn't been the same around here without you.
Well, I thought it's good to be back. You know, fans are great here. They are.
The best fans in baseball, of course.
I think so. I think they are. They are the best.
Yogi, during that time, that 14 years, were you tempted to come back at any time?
No, I would watch it on TV, Tim. I was. You know, a few times, you know, when they have Phil's Day or some of the guys' day, Bobby Brown Day or something. I always called around. Sorry, I'm not going out.
And George called him and apologized, right, last winter?
Yep, this winter he did. And everything worked out fine, Tim.
That's right.
Well, I'll tell you what, the bad part about that was him not coming to the stadium. He was my biggest critic, but he used to call me all the time and say, well, you shouldn't be saying that.
which meant he heard too much of you, right?
That's what I was saying. I said, Yogi, get back to the stadium. You won't be able to listen to me that much.
No, I always watch the game, that's for sure. I always look what's going on in there.
What did it feel like, Yogi, when you first walked into Yankee Stadium by the press gate there, and then you went downstairs to walk through the tunnel? What did it feel like?
I'll tell you, it feels a lot different. I didn't know my way around here, Bobby. They fixed it up so much.
Hey, this is quite a palace around here now,
isn't it?
You're
not kidding. The clubhouse they got now. And I'll tell you one thing. You know, you say you're nervous, you know. I wasn't nervous when I came. I got nervous when I went out on the field. Because I think opening day, regardless how many years you played, not until that first pitch is made, then it's over. I don't care how much experience. A lot of people say, well, all the experience you had, you shouldn't be nervous. It's a lot of baloney. And you still get nervous. I don't care what sport it is. I think till that basketball, football, till the first play is made, then it's all right.
Hey, Yogi, let me ask you, 24 World Championships, what do those mean to you as a player here with this franchise?
Not bad. I was in 14 of them.
Well, I know them. Excuse me. 24 unprecedented world champions. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
I was very fortunate and born at the right time.
Well, I know you with the way the money is being passed around here, I mean, you could buy an awful lot of Italian dinners on that kind of bread.
Oh, no. Well, I think, I don't know if I told you, Tim, not on the show. No, I was in 6 World Series out of 7. And we won 5 of them. And you know how much money I got out of them 5? Or 6 we won? $42,000.
From 6 winning World Series shares. Wow. Things have changed, haven't they?
Oh, boy.
Well, I mean, you should have known that was going to be the pay scale because the Cardinals didn't give you $250 more. Isn't that right?
Right.
Tell that story if you would. I didn't know that until a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I won $500 and same thing Joe got, but they wouldn't give it to him.
They offered $250, right?
Not even $250.
Oh, they didn't offer $250.
Not that much even. I don't think Ricky wanted me to go with the Dodgers. That's all it took.
Branch Rickey was the farm team at the time?
General manager at the time. Wouldn't do it.
And Ricky didn't think you could hit either, did he?
No, I guess not.
Well, you weren't a catcher then either, right?
No, I played outfield a little bit. And I played infield. I think, Bobby, remember Lou McGuire? The scout, Lou McGuire for the Yankees?
Right.
So he was a Brown scout then. He was a St. Louis Brown, and he begged the Browns to sign me. And they said, well, if the Cardinals wouldn't give you $500, we're not going to give you anything either. So John Schulte saw me. Leo Brown, like I told you before, Tim, Leo Brown called George Weiss and said, I got a kid that'd like to play, and he sign up for $500. So I went, signed up for $500.
We said that it's one of the first times that Major League Baseball hasn't overpaid for a player.
Well, I don't know. I just wanted to play ball. I didn't care.
Well, but your mom and dad didn't want you to play, right?
That's for sure. That's for sure. You go to work.
Yeah.
That's it. My brothers are the ones who made me go and play.
They didn't think catching was work.
No, I thought it was fun.
Let me ask.
After I got in the big leagues.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something. Have you ever thought back that if you didn't sign, what you would be doing today?
That I don't know, Bobby. I'll tell you the truth. I really don't know. I had a lot of jobs and I didn't work at them all very long.
You told me your older brother was a better athlete than you, a better baseball player, right?
My brother Tony was, yeah. He was a better ball player than I was.
But never had a chance to play.
Never had a chance. They're the ones who told my dad let him go. Yeah? I got out to play.
Jeter was off with that pitch. O'Neill fouls it back. Tell me a little bit about what you thought about the '98 team. You know, they were talked about as being the best ball club the Yankees have ever put out there, or being compared to that anyway, with those 114 wins, 125 in the World Championship. How did they compare to some of those great teams that you played on?
I think we had more power. The one from 49 to 53 when we won 5-0. I think we had more power. These guys could hit this club here. They're never out of a game. You know, they could peck you to death, the team here. And then we got a guy that could pop once in a while. And we had guys, oh my gosh, you know, we had Maris, Mano, myself, Elston, Howard. You know, Casey never believed in running.
Yeah. Well, these guys, the Yankee team last year had a deeper pitching staff, don't you think?
Yeah.
As deep as anybody, with the middle relievers, the stopper, the starters.
Well, I think they'd be all right with Riviera and the Stanton. I think they'd be all right. A couple of young guys there. And they got a good pitching staff.
That was Yogi on the end there.
Jeter off again, and it's ball 4 to O'Neill. So
in all team pictures, all the catchers sat on the first row, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Yogi, let's flash back a few years ago, and I want you to comment on this flashback here. Take a look at this.
Oh, yeah, that's when he hit the home run at Beatles over there. Off of Pete Nicholson.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was a good 2 rows back.
Yeah, that's all that counts. Don't count it for you.
Yeah, the funny thing, Mickey was playing right field. You could see number 7.
Yeah, that's what I get at Charlie. You know, the guys hit 500 feet home run. What, so what?
Yeah, only counts one.
If it goes 300, perfect. What's the difference?
Yeah, 1964, that was the last time the Yankees were even in the postseason until 1977. So, I mean, there was a lot of years in between 64 and 77. And I was a part of that. I hate to say that. Bernie Williams, excuse me, go ahead.
I just hope we get this game in. That's all over.
Well, you know, once they start a game like this, you can tell us better because you've been down on the field many times. And once they start a game in weather like this, they normally go ahead and finish it if they can, if it doesn't get any stronger. Just a light rain, but it's consistent for sure.
You told me a couple of months ago, Yogi, that your book had sold 400,000 copies. It's got to be up to about 6 right now, right?
I don't know. We're coming out with the hard copy. Just come out.
Yeah, it was one of the odd books that went from softback to hardback.
How's yours going?
Well, it's going fine. I didn't ask you that. I mean, for this mutual book selling tour up here.
That's all right. I'm working on mine. Okay.
How's the museum doing?
Very good. The museum's doing very good. We had the Yankee trophy over there a couple of days ago. We had a lot of people come in and look at it. We took it back here today so the fans could see it. And we're going to get it back on the 14th. And we're going to have it for a long time.
Well, a good play made by Damon Easley at second base that allowed the runners to go up to second and third with Martinez coming up. But he saved a run anyway on that ground ball. And Tino, you know, talking about Martinez. I mean, with the home runs that he hit last year, he hit, 100+ RBI year again, and you just don't hear much about Tino, but he just continues to put the numbers out there for you. They're going to intentionally walk him, load the bases, and take their chances with Chili Davis.
Chili hit one out.
What he did in Oakland, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you almost have to do this with Tino up there. I mean,
that's
you know,
right.
3 runs down.
Play the percentage.
Yeah. Got a sinker ball pitcher out there. He got the one double play ball, failed to be turned by Easley earlier in the game, and then Scott Brocious hit the home run.
But that's what we were talking about with this ball club too, you know, and comparing it to up and down the lineup, up and down the 25-man roster. Where is our let-up? There's no let-up.
They got a good bench. We got a switch hitter coming up now.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Don't forget that same way with Mickey. If you walk, you got a switch hitter coming up. You walk the guy in front of me or something.
That's one of the great statistics that I've ever read was in 1961. Roger Maris receiving no intentional walks all year.
That is that's incredible. It really is. Well, Jeter on at third base. That's O'Neill down at second. Of course, Tino on at first. So bases are loaded for Chili Davis with only one out. Something the Yankees were great at last year, driving in that run from third base with less than 2 outs. From a hitter standpoint, Yog, I mean, this
is a good point.
Oh, it's great, isn't it?
Used to be better when it was 296 down the line.
That's not bad. That's not that far there now.
Now, Yog, tell me, you know, there was a lot said about you being a better bad ball hitter than, you know, one right down the middle. Is that true?
Well, I don't know. Like I always say, I saw the ball good, Bobby, and I swung at it. That's all. It's just one of them things. I just swung at it.
Sounds pretty simple to me. If you see us swing at it, maybe I didn't do that, you know. All these players today, man, they go over all that film, and they got the replays and the pictures, and they really get pretty technical.
Well, I used to watch the picture, you know, which way the ball goes a lot of times. You know, you could follow it pretty good sometimes. I did, I could tell.
Did you ever see video of yourself hitting while you were playing? Did you ever see it?
No.
Not one.
No. I could tell almost if the ball's going to be inside to no kid. I could open up, or I could tell when the ball's going outside. I could go after the ball. There it is.
High and deep to right field. Higginson looks up and it's gone. A grand slam predicted by Yogi Berra. And the Yankees will take a 7-0 lead. Yogi, welcome home.
Can't do that. It's tough. You know, he's the third guy to switch hitter. I think he's third in active
third in the history of switch hitters. That's his 333rd career home run as a switch hitter. How about that?
That's not bad.
Call it, Yogi.
No, I can't call it. There it goes.
Oh, my goodness. It has been the long ball today with Tino, Brocious, and now Chili.
4 hits. 7 runs, that's what counts.
For you folks who just tuned in, as Tino Martinez was being walked intentionally, Yogi Berra said, Chili will probably hit one out.
He did.
That's the second home run from Chili this year. Chad's got 2 home runs. Just got in on the hand. But now there's 2 gone for the Yankees. Tell you what, I think Mr. Collin, you need to be up here predicting for the broadcast.
Now, your first day back, you're trying to take our jobs.
Well, thank heavens you'll be coming to the ballpark more, you know.
Yeah, I think I will.
Hey, listen, last night, the welcome home dinner, the annual welcome home dinner, what was it like to go back there, be introduced, and I saw you and George walk in arm in arm as they introduced you.
Yeah, it was very good. It was good. Good party last night. Too bad you guys didn't make it, but it was a nice party.
We weren't invited.
Oh, weren't you?
No.
I heard you guys were flying.
Well, we were.
We were flying.
We were flying.
No, but it was a good party, but it was over quick. It was real good. Nice. It was done by 20 minutes to 9. And that's great. You don't find a banquet or anything like that being over, starting at 7 o'clock and over at 20 minutes to 9.
You know, the first part of the year is always a pretty tough time for the players and the coaches because, you know, they're trying to get settled in. They've got the welcome home banquets well, this was last night at the welcome home banquet when Mr. Steinbrenner got up to introduce you, as a matter of fact. Zimmer was talking about a couple of little lines he got in last night, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he got a good dig.
Out of the center field, a late jump by Kapler, but he catches up. Will you stay one more half inning with us? Will you just stay one more inning with us?
Okay.
You did pretty good with Julie Davis. I know that. Hang around here. Yankees in front by 7.
Hey.
David Cohn has thrown exactly 50 pitches. His pitch limit about 100 to 110, said Mel Stottlemyre. The Yankees on top 7-0 with Bobby Mercer. I'm Tim McCarver, and we are joined by a legend, Yogi Berra, number 8. What'd you think, Yog, as we watched Coney, the ground crew, putting the turfus on the infield? What'd you think when they gave you number 8 after Bill Dickey's number was already retired? Or was it retired when you wore it?
No, I don't think it was retired when I got it.
Is that right?
It wasn't retired yet.
So they decided to retire number 8 twice at the same
actually,
time?
Big Pete gave it to me. You know, Big Pete gave out the number. Nobody, he was the only one that gave out the number. And I was number 35 when my first year was 35. And he gave me number 8. And it stayed there, you know, until I... In fact, when Dickey coached, he had number 8, I think. No, what they give Dickey there, number... Forget what number they gave.
Before number 8?
I think so.
Yeah.
But he was number 8, I know that. But he gave it to me. And when we got Dickey as a coach, he had a different number than 8, I know that.
Well, Bill Dickey helped you a lot, though, didn't he?
Oh, hell yeah, he helped a heck of a lot. He helped me a great deal. I owe all my experience to him. That's what I say all the time.
Well, you know, that's the thing that the Yankees have right now with Posada and Girardi. They are helping each other out and fighting for the same job. I mean, you just don't see that too much in baseball anymore.
No, Posada's going to be a good catcher. Once he get going, he'll be all right. He's still a young kid. And
what a thrower.
Good thrower.
You know, I was going to mention Pete Sheehy, the longtime clubhouse manager for the Yankees, the home side. And, of course, the clubhouse here at Yankee Stadium is dedicated in his memory. And boy, we sure miss Big Pete. We had Big Pete and Little Pete at one time.
That's right.
Sure miss him.
Big Pete was great, boy, I'll tell you.
He had some kind of penmanship, didn't he? I mean, but yeah, he used to give out those numbers. I remember that. And the only bad thing that Pete ever had to do, Big Pete that is, during spring training, he'd come from the manager's office. Remember that? With the axe. Yeah, well, when you saw him walk out on the field, you didn't even want to look towards him.
That's right.
Sewing other numbers on uniform desktops, right?
Yeah, when he called you over, you knew.
Yeah, you're gone.
You were gone.
7-0 Yankees on top here in the top of the 4th. It's been raining since the beginning of the game. Normally, and I should say perhaps, this game would not have started were it not opening day. But all the Yankee runs have come via the home run. A solo homer by Tino Martinez, a 2-run shot by Brocious, and a grand slam home run after an intentional walk, and forecasted by Yogi Berra. He called it. There's Chile.
Popping up.
Higginson jammed, left side Jeter. 1 out here in the 4th.
Hey, Yogi.
Go ahead, Bob.
I'm sorry, Tim. Opening day, you know, it's a special time for every ball player, but here at Yankee Stadium with all the history behind it, what one opening day stands out in your memory out of all the years that you've been here?
Oh, boy.
Is there one that you can just...
They're all good. Opening day. Yankee said the best one, though, was in Washington for me, my first year, 47. Bobo Musa. I went 4 for 5 with my first game in 47. And I was playing right field then. And that was my best one.
Your first game as a Yankee was as a right fielder.
Yeah.
How big? Did you catch any in 47?
Oh, yeah. I played outfield. When I come up in 46, the last 2 weeks, they made me catch. And I guess they saw a little too much of it, and they put me out the right field a little bit so they get my bat in or somewhere. And so I switched off and on until Casey came over, and that's when he hired Dickey to come over and work with me.
3 balls and a strike to Dean Palmer. 1 out here in the 4th. 7-0 New York.
Who was the president? I know you said in Washington. Did the president throw out the first
Yeah,
ball? Who was the president? You remember?
I'm trying to think who that.
That's always a highlight, obviously, when we used to open up in Washington.
3-2. Had to be Harry S. Truman, didn't it?
Could have been.
Yeah.
Truman.
It better have been, or my history books are wrong.
Pick a president.
Palmer walks on a 3-2 pitch. That's the third walk given up by David Cohn. But can we say it? Yogi's got a no-hitter going.
Yeah, how many has he walked?
He's walked 3. He's hit a batter. Those have been the only base runners so far as Kareem Garcia comes up.
47, Bill Bevins walked 10 and had a no-hit until the last inning with 2 outs.
Yeah, was that the Lavagetto?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Talking
he walked
about
10 in that game?
10.
I didn't remember that. How many pitches did he throw in that game? 200?
That day we didn't count pitches.
Popped up in the infield.
It was up to the manager then.
Jeter, 2 outs.
You know, we were talking about the no-hitter, perfect game. Don Larson was at the was he at the welcome home dinner last night?
Yeah, we both got an award last night, and it was very good. Yeah.
Well, that must have been some kind of thrill when you caught that.
But that was a World Series game. You know, it's never happened before. You know, a perfect game. There's only been one, and it's amazing. There's only been one no-hitter in a World Series.
Gabe Kapler, the center fielder, is the batter. And you've told me on more than one occasion that pitch to Dale Mitchell was not outside.
No, it was right on the corner.
Right on the corner. Dale Mitchell, if you folks may or may not know, he made the last out on a call. Was that a slider from Larson's fastball?
It was fastball.
Right on the corner.
Right on the corner.
Was that in the old strike zone or the new strike zone that we have today?
Our own strike zone.
Nothing in one to Kapler.
Well, we're getting some inside information now on that stuff. I tell you. How about that slider there? I mean, you talk about something nasty.
So might be one here.
It was another one. 1-1 now to Kapler.
You know, that's the great thing about David Cohn is he'll throw you one slider that's a little bit harder than the other slider, and he'll slow his arm angle down at his release point.
That's what Whitey was good against left-handers. He'd throw one overhand, then 3/4, then side on. Whitey had a good one.
Another slider misses, 2-2.
Let me ask you, Yog, is there anything else in the plans for you and the Yankees throughout the year? Or are you just...
Well, I'm going to come back to Old Timers Day. I'm going to come back to other day. I'm going to go to Joe DiMaggio's memorial, and then on the 25th, I'll come out here when they put the plaque up out there in center field.
In the monument.
And I'll be out at other games, probably.
Yogi, your quotes after the passing of Joe were just terrific. You said that you never saw Joe DiMaggio make a mistake on the ball field.
No, never did. You know, the one thing, remember when Mickey got hurt at that drain out in right center there?
51 or 50?
He said he didn't hear DiMaggio call for it. But one thing DiMaggio told me when I played outfield, says, if I ever hear your voice, I'm not going to go and get the ball. If I don't hear you, you better get out of my way. I'm getting it. And that's where we had it correct. And it was a good way. If he didn't hear you, if you hollered at him, he's out of there.
Yogi, I tell you what, bud, I'm so glad to have you back, man. One of the greatest guys you'll ever want to meet besides being a legend of the Yankees.
7-0 Yankees. We'll be back. (7-0) New York. 3 home runs, 7 runs. And tonight at 9, the Devil comes to town on Millennium. But can Frank save his daughter from the demon? Millennium tonight at 9 on Fox 5. Anything but the demon just left our booth. One of the happiest people. You know, Bobby, there's so much said about Yogi Berra. But in his private life, I've never seen a man more content with his life. I know he got mad as a manager, mad as a player. I don't think I've ever run into anybody who is more content with being who he is than Yogi Berra.
I know one thing. I have never run into a man who treats you as well as Yogi Berra does. And to have the kind of numbers and stats, and look at those stats that we're talking about, record 18 straight years. Yankees won, they won 14 of those pennants and 210 career home runs at Yankee Stadium. And, you know, Yogi not only could hit the ball down the right field line, he could hit it down the left field line for a home run. He used the whole field, but I mean, just a wonderful guy to be around. I'll tell you what, it thrills me to no end to know that Yogi's going to be coming back around Yankee Stadium. We're going to get a chance to see his face.
His staggering accomplishments on the field. I mean, think about it. In 1960, when Bill Mazeroski hit the home run off Ralph Terry, it was Yogi Berra's back that you see going toward the wall. Yogi was involved in so many things in Yankee history, both good and bad. Not a lot of bad when you win 24 World Championships. Off the glove, and a fine play by Debbie Cruz on the first pitch. Joe Girardi vying for his first hit of the year, but a fine play by Cruz nips it, 1 out.
Well, this is teamwork, and the only chance that Cruz had was to pick the ball up barehanded and to throw the ball off balance. And Girardi, even though he's a catcher, as we talked earlier, he can run pretty good. Nice play by the shortstop.
So Baker Gratterall has given up all 7 runs. All have been earned. But the problem's coming in the 3rd inning when he walked 2, then an infield out that sent O'Neill and Jeter to 2nd and 3rd respectively. Tino Martinez was walked, and Chili Davis hit a grand slam home run. 1 ball and a strike to Chuck Knobloch. Chuck is 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Still raining here at the stadium. Yankees hopeful to get the next half inning under their belts. So it will become an official game, but one would think with the umpire starting it and raining intermittently through the first 4 innings, that they will play the full 9 innings unless there is a downpour.
I would suspect so. It'd be unfair to the other ball club or anybody else to call the game because they started in the same type of weather.
Grounded towards 2nd easily. Two outs here in the 4th inning. It has been a tough go for the rookie Baker Gratterall. As Jeter comes up, there have been 3 rookies making their debuts in the opener at Yankee Stadium. One was a fella or I should say at home against New York, because one guy made his debut before Yankee Stadium was built. Nick Carter back in 1908. That was when the Yankees were the Highlanders. They played at Hillside Park. Jeter pops it up, and for the first time in this ball game, the Yankees go in order. It is 7-0 New York after 4. Bobby and I'll be back after this. $7-0 New York, and a reminder that New York Yankees baseball on Fox 5 is brought to you in part by Infinity. Own one and you'll understand. By J&R Music and Computer World, conveniently located at 23 Park Row in Lower Manhattan. By Budweiser. Now is the perfect time to enjoy a brewery fresh, Beechwood aged Budweiser. Along with Bobby Mercer, I'm Tim McCarver on a cold and windy afternoon here at Yankee Stadium. Well, they could very well do that. World champions in '96, world champions in '98, and a return here to Yankee Stadium as Brad Ausmus leads off for the Tigers.
And 18 players back for the Yankees that was on that '98 World Championship ball club. Of course, the big talked about trade with Roger Clemens and David Wells going up to Toronto. I'm suspecting that Toronto, they could be a surprise ball club this year, depending on how that young pitching comes around. And they've got some good hitters over there with Delgado and Cruz and Green and
Derek Jeter. Well, David Wells pitched a perfect game last May 17th against the Minnesota Twins. And David Cohn has a no-hitter through 4 1/3 this afternoon. It is 7-0, and Kidda, the right-hander, warming for Detroit. Masao Kidda from Japan. Yet another Japanese pitcher to join the likes of Hideo Nomo, Masato Yoshi, Hideko Rabu. Here's Debbie Cruz. Line to third, and Brocious makes the catch.
One thing you know about Cruz, when he steps into the batter's box, he's going to be swinging.
He is
no
a
matter
hacker.
where he's a hacker.
We talked earlier, he only walked 13 times last year.
Well, that's the reason they call it the hot corner down at third. And Brocious with a brand new glove here in 1999. That glove that he had used for many, many years, including the World Championship year last year, the great year that he had. That thing is just about falling apart, so he's had to go to the new leather.
Frank Catalanato, we mentioned earlier, from Long Island, as he takes a strike on the corner. Breaking ball is high, 1-1 to Catalanato. Good breaking ball, but it stays outside. 2 balls and 1 strike.
One thing about David Cohn, as Stottlemyre looks on, is that he has a great knack for throwing a breaking ball or a pitch when he's behind in the count, but he has a greater knack of working himself into a problem and then being able to induce a ground ball for a double play or strike out 2 in a row. I mean, you never really get nervous when Cohn gets into trouble. And he hasn't been in any trouble this game so far.
Seems to save his best for troubled times. 2-2 to Catalanato. Inside, ball 3, 3-2.
Well, even though Catalanato is from New York, there were still a lot of fans here wanting him to strike out. So much for the hometown guy, you know.
Well, the splitter allows Catalanato to go to first. That is the 4th walk given up by David, and that'll bring up Greg Jeffries, the designated hitter.
Greg Jeffries.
Still raining, and the Yankees only 1 out away from this being an official game. The fastball misses to Jeffries.
Talking to Jeffries before the game, I know we talked a little bit about what do you do in between at-bats when you're the DH. Well, he said that he likes to go in the clubhouse, do lots of stretching to keep himself loose, and he will at times ride a bicycle, you know, to keep his legs loose and all that. He said, I said, well, you know, I did a little DHing towards the end of my career. It should be an easy play for Curtis, and it is. I said, one of the things you ought to do is have a couple of hot dogs. That'll really loosen you up.
Well, hitting like riding a bike to some degree. For pitching, David Cohn like riding a bike through 5. 7-0 Yankees. Masao Kidda in relief of Gratterall. So Baker Gratterall is out of there working 4 innings and giving up all 7 runs, 3 home runs. A grand slam home run by Chili Davis. And yep, it's that type of day. Bring out the Long Johns. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and WNYW Fox 5 is prohibited.
It is a nasty day. It's turned out to be a real nasty day here at Yankee Stadium, with the rain still slightly falling here at the stadium, but it's cold. It's not the a typical day that you would like if you're a pitcher or a hitter, but the Yankees have they've taken care of the young rookie right-hander with those home runs.
There's a brave soul right there. I think that is Masao Kidda's interpreter on the Detroit bench in the first pitch to Paul O'Neill. 1 pitch, 1 out. You know, Bobby, you're talking about the bad weather, and it is bad here in New York City, but not nearly as bad as it was in Cincinnati earlier today. Al Troutwig's in the booth, and Al informing us that the whole neighborhood, and this, you just hate to report this, in Cincinnati, in Paul's neighborhood, his house is still standing. The rest of the neighborhood obliterated by a tornado earlier this morning. And his wife Emily on the phone with CNN earlier this morning. And we wish there are deaths in the area. We're not sure. We think there were 6 deaths, scores of people in the hospital, 31 people now in the hospital, and our condolences and thoughts and prayers and what have you with those neighbors of Paul O'Neill. Not that they're hearing us, but what a horrific thing to happen this morning.
Tornadoes are devastating. Living in Oklahoma my whole life, we have to deal with that. It's just something that you never get used to, obviously, and it's something that you don't know if it's going to happen or not. It's a possibility they just drop out of the sky on you. You have warnings, and people in those areas do obviously take cover when the warnings are out, and they're getting better at being able to warn people about those tornadoes, but they are really devastating.
3-1 to Bernie Williams. We assume that Paul has heard about the tornado, that he talked to his wife earlier. We assume that. We're not sure whether Paul and Emily have talked since this morning about the tornadoes, but this one lifted to left field. And Garcia makes the play. There are 2 outs here in the 5th inning. This is an official game. David Cone has a no-hitter going through 5, and one has to wonder how much longer Don Zimmer's going to go with David.
Well, the Yankees lead it 7-0, and I'll tell you what, as we go back into the 2nd inning, Tino Martinez at the plate. He was the guy that got it started for New York with a solo shot. That being Tino's first home run of the year, and since that time they've added 2 more.
Tino was intentionally walked his last time up. That was after Derek Jeter had walked, Paul O'Neill had walked, then Bernie Williams grounded out on a nice play by Damian Easley. Runners moved up. Tino was walked intentionally, and then Chili Davis on a 1-0 count hit his first Grand Slam home run of the season. 2-0 to Tino Martinez. And Kidda's 2-0 pitch outside, 3-0. Normally in a 7-0 game, managers don't give hitters the hit sign on 3-0. Normally. Tino taking all the way, and he walks.
That being, they don't want to. Well, if you come from the old school, it was kind of like, well, you don't want to take advantage and show somebody up in a game when you're being pounded.
Right. 3rd inning, last time up.
High and deep to right field. Higginson looks up.
You know, he's the 3rd guy to switch hitter. I think he's 3rd in.
That voice you heard in the background was Yogi Berra after he called the Grand Slam home run by Chili Davis. High and outside, 1-0.
Loved it.
Oh, that's wonderful. One and 0 to Chile. 7-0 New York here in the bottom of the 5th.
Everybody wondering, well, can the Yankees be as good as they were last year? Off the glove of Easley. So Chile hit the ball hard again. But to continue on with what I was talking about, can the Yankees be any better than they were last year? Well, all I can tell you is that it looks like they're going to have Chili Davis all year long. They only had him for 35 games last year. Roger Clemens has joined the ball club. So you get Chili, and you know, Strawberry is out right now. He is working his way into shape so that he can join this ball club.
Well, the only thing that Don Zimmer will commit to so far is that the Yankees are different this year. Are they better? Don will tell you. I don't know whether we're better or not. But the one thing that the Yankees are, they are different.
Another thing is Orlando Hernandez didn't join the ball club in '98 until June. He won 12 ball games for them. They've got him all year, and he's already won his first.
Slips by Osmus, so the runners will move up. Martinez to third, Davis to second, and it will be a wild pitch on Masao Kida.
Kida's got a live arm, but that slider gets away from him, and Osmus makes his best effort. A quick 2 outs, and all of a sudden Masao Kida has himself in a jam.
Kida, by the way, is the 8th natural-born Japanese player to play in the major leagues. The first was the Giants left-hander back in the middle 60s, Masanori Masayama. I think I have that right. Or it could be Masayama Masanori.
That's it.
That's it. I think it is.
Yeah.
So I just had it backwards. I had it right, but backwards.
I didn't want to correct you.
That's okay. It's all right. Feel free, my friend. 1-0 to Chad Curtis, and the slider catches the corner. 1-1.
Got to be very difficult for these Japanese players, these foreign players who do not speak English. I mean, Hideki Arabu still has a problem dealing with some of the fundamentals that the Yankees want him to do, and he's got to go through that interpreter. Obviously, the more years they spend here in America, the better it'll be.
Hit hard up the middle. Martinez will score. Here comes Chili Davis, and Chili scores 9-0 New York. That, in any language, 2 RBIs for Curtis.
So Chad Curtis continues to hit the ball for Don Zimmer and the Yankees. Shot right back up the middle, and this is after Kida got the first 2 men out here quickly in the 5th inning, and the Yankees, perfect. You can see where the ball, you talk about the ball meeting the bat squarely or roundly, ever how you want to put it. That's perfect.
Scott Brocious, a home run his first time up. He's 1 for 2. Skies one towards center. Kapler did not see the ball initially, but he one-hands it for the 3rd out. The Yankees tack on another 2 on the RBI single up the middle by Curtis. 9-0 New York. David Cone is working on a no-hitter, but you never know whether this game is going to be completed. The umpires have done a fine job, but with the Yankees up 9-0, if this were a close game, obviously they would try to complete it more than if it's a blowout. Not to say that the Tigers can't come back, but obviously when you're 9 up, the likelihood of them doing so is lessened.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the fat lady is not singing yet, but boy, she's warming up. I can tell you.
She sure is. She sure is. She's humming. Let's take a look at the Continental Airlines out-of-town scoreboard as you look at David Cone completing his warm-up tosses all under the lights. Kansas City at Chicago, Toronto at Baltimore. Baltimore comes in, by the way, when the Tigers leave. The Orioles will be in next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 3 night games. Boston at Tampa Bay. Boston perfect on the year. They're 3-0. Jose Offerman off to a good start. Cleveland and Minnesota. Anaheim at Texas. Of course, everybody in Boston upset about the Red Sox not signing Mo Vaughn. Oakland at Seattle as Kenny Rogers opens and up at the Kingdome.
You know, you brought up Mo Vaughn. Mo hurt himself falling into the dugout a couple of days ago. They thought it wasn't serious, but the reports now coming out of Anaheim that it's a lot more serious than they originally thought.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
And Mo could miss, well, they're still doing some tests on him and the MRIs and all the scans and all that stuff. And he could miss quite a bit of time for the Angels. hopefully, you know, for baseball's sake, that Mo's not hurt that bad, and he will be back soon. But
yeah, what you would, I mean, what would be the ideal situation would be to have Roger Clemens and Mo Vaughn make the All-Star team this year, because the All-Star game's in Boston. To have Roger Clemens and Mo Vaughn go back to Boston the second Tuesday in July, to me, would be an unbelievable happening.
I wouldn't bet against it.
No, I wouldn't either. That's why you hope Mo Vaughn can come back. But Jose Offerman, the Red Sox were criticized mightily for not signing Vaughn and signing Jose Offerman, but Offerman's hitting .545 after the first 3 games. Small sample, but still doing well. Here's Damian Easley.
Well, the Yankees say thanks with an invitation to a future game. Now, that's for everybody at the game today. That's 56,000 plus. And what the Yankees and Mr. Steinbrenner have done is that during this inclement weather here, these people have stuck it out. They showed up for opening day. It was a sellout here. And so he is inviting them back to a future game.
The right fielder, Bobby Higginson. In right field for the Yankees, number 47, Shane Spencer.
Shortly to follow as Higginson draws another base on balls. At 5 walks given up by David Cohn. He has a 9-0 lead. He has thrown 93 pitches, and Mel Stottlemyre on the horn.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely a call to the bullpen. You can see that, well, I thought that the catcher was taking his jacket off. And we will start to have some activity in the Yankee bullpen now. And
looked like Dan Nolte up and throwing. Nope, Jason Grimsley. Yep. Here's Dean Palmer, and the breaking ball is outside. 1-0. Jason Grimsley
has yet to appear in a Yankee game, and he would like to get his first appearance over for the Yanks. That's some of the changes that we were talking about earlier, the difference in '98 as compared to '99. And Grimsley and Nolte in the bullpen, along with a few other changes, obviously. But the bullpen with Graham Lloyd gone, they only have one left-hander down there, and that's Mike Stanton.
Dan Nolte, the right-hander that Don Zimmer and Joe Torre, when Joe returns, depending on to get left-handers out. Nolte with that good splitter.
I understand that Joe is back in New York and at his home.
Base hit right field, the first hit of this ball game. So that loads them up for the Tigers with nobody out here in the 6th inning.
Well, the no-hitter is gone. And the appreciation from the fans that are here and acknowledging that no-hitter through 5. Dean Palmer, they're hoping that he will give them lots of offensive power off that bat of his. Just out of the reach of Tino Martinez. Now, I don't know, on a good day, Tino may have been able to grab that one. It's the infield's a little bit slick and and sticky right now.
That's
so
a good point.
Not getting the good movement.
Yep, I think Tino catches that ball easily.
You can see some of the water standing on the infield, as a matter of fact.
It's kind of a base-to-base situation right here as Garcia fouls it back. 0-1 to Kareem Garcia.
I was saying that I understand Joe Torre is back in New York now, and maybe at his home in Westchester. And if he is watching the broadcast, which I would suspect that he would be, we certainly want to wish him the very best, and we can't wait to see him back here at the stadium, and maybe tomorrow, and for sure on Sunday for the ring ceremony.
He'll be here definitely on Sunday, possibly tomorrow. 1-1 to Garcia. Everyone, obviously, not only connected with the Yankees, but in New York, nationally. They tried to get to Joe in St. Louis. They tried to get to him in Florida. Grounded foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Garcia. And obviously, Joe is recuperating from very serious surgery of the prostate. And for obvious reasons, no one could get to him. And you can imagine what kind of mail he had to return. And came to the New York area, we understand, Wednesday or Thursday.
Well, we're just glad that the surgery went well and that Joe is recuperating, and everything seems to be going along just fine. And I know everybody around here and around baseball is anxious to see Joe when he returns and when he gets healthy enough and his strength has come back. And I know how hard it is for him to be away.
Oh, yeah. Garcia is jammed with a breaking ball and skating over near the line as Brocious to make the first out. Infield fly rule was in effect, and that'll bring up Gabe Kapler, the center fielder. It will be interesting to me, Bobby, that after this inning, depending on what happens with the Tigers, if they fail to score, you could see the umpires not call it, but bring the tarp out, because the conditions are worsening to the point where the guys can't get their footwork. Foul back, 0-1.
And you got to be concerned about injury. You can see there on the infield, there's water beginning to start to stand there now. And that is a sure sign of a possibility of somebody slipping, tearing a knee up or an ankle or something like that. And you wouldn't want to lose somebody for the rest of the year because of the conditions and the way they are.
Now, if the Tigers were to score 4 or 5 runs in this inning, that would be a different story. But if they go scoreless in this inning, it'll be interesting to see what the umpires do.
Well, Tim, we were talking about starting the game in this kind of weather, but when they started the game and through the first 5 innings, there wasn't any water standing on the infield.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a little different story.
Yeah. No hitter is gone. David allowed the hit to Dean Palmer. It's an official game, so I'm sure the umpire's taking all these things into consideration.
9-0 by the world champions.
Yeah. On the outside corner, 2-2.
Dinner reservations at 6:30. Got to take everything into account, you know.
Yeah, got to do that. Fastball is high, 3-2 now to Kapler.
I suspect that if Cone walks Kapler, this could be all for him, and Grimsley probably will be called into this game.
Yeah. David, right around 100 pitches right now. Just outside, and that's a walk to the center fielder. And the Detroit Tigers score the first run of the day for them. An RBI for Kapler. And here comes Mel Stottlemyre, and in all probability, that'll be all for David Cone. We'll see. Jason Grimsley is warm in the bullpen, and there's the motion for Grimsley, and a big hand for David Cone.
And a job well done.
Yep.
Under these conditions for David Cone, and standing ovation for him here with the fans that are still left here at the stadium. He leads with 104 pitches, so that's right in that area that Stottlemyre was talking about, between 100 and 110 pitches that they wanted to get out of Cone today. And they got that, and they also have a 9-1 lead with a pitching change.
The Yankees got that out of David Cone, and you'll get Jason Grimsley when we come back.
Well, back here at the stadium, 1 out in the 6th inning. David Cone is gone, and it's continuing to rain here. This is, I think this is David Cone. Once he got to the dugout, he said, hey, it's too nasty to play. I mean, the guys can't even move on the infield, and the pitcher's mound is even getting a little bit sticky and slippery.
He said he's not arguing balls and strikes to Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire. He said, I'm not worried about it.
No.
He's just saying it's too wet,
Too
on
wet.
the mound.
The conditions are too bad.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really is a no-no in baseball is arguing, you know, balls and strikes with the umpires. They don't
automatic
like that.
ejection for a manager.
For a manager,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at the last pitch, and I think Cone thought he had him struck out. No, that's a bad pitch, way outside and low. So a good call from Cederstrom, but the infield is getting some more attention as, you know, Zimmer had to go over there and kind of get in between Cederstrom and Cone. You can see that the ground crew once again is out with that turfus, spreading it all around the infield. Batter's box, pitcher's mound. And Jason Grimsley will, if we resume this game, will be the pitcher for the Yankees. His first appearance for the Yankees this year. Grimsley with the Indians in their organization last year. Pretty good sinker. Got a split-fingered fastball. A guy that the Yankees are going to use sometimes against left-handed hitters because of that sinker. And because they don't have another left-hander besides Stanton down in the bullpen.
There was a movie made about 30 years ago, and the name of the movie was On the Beach. This is the sequel this afternoon, right here.
Oh, that was Frankie Avalon and Annette, right?
Oh, you're thinking of Beach Party Bingo.
Oh, that was my favorite.
This was a very controversial movie about nuclear war and the future of nuclear war along the beach.
Okay.
This was this was Annette Funicello.
Okay. No, I didn't expect them to be in that one.
Well, this could be beach blanket bingo too, but be a very wet bingo game.
I know one thing. You know, during the winter months here in New York, they have to put a lot of inventory of the salt that they spread out over the roadways and stuff like
Melting
that.
the ice.
The Yankees will have to go and replenish their inventory as far as the turf is concerned.
Yeah,
they've already spread about 25 or 30 bags on this field so far.
Well, there are lines in life. You are what you eat. There are lines in baseball. You are who you were traded for. And Jason Grimsley's first trade from the Philadelphia Phillies, after being in the Philly organization for about 8 years, was for Curt Schilling in 1992. Curt Schilling, one of the best pitchers in the game now, set a major league record for strikeouts by a right-handed pitcher 2 years ago, and then struck out 300 last year for Philadelphia. So Jason Grimsley, who was wild as a young man, not in his private life, but in his pitching life, has gotten it together. Here he is, his first appearance in a Yankee uniform, and it's fouled off by Brad Osmus.
And it's opening day. And Grimsley finds himself in there. Of course, he wants to make a good impression on this Yankee management team. Like we mentioned, he's got a good fastball, which is a sinker, a good curveball, a split finger to go along with that.
There's a breaking ball. It's low. 1-1.
He's only 31 years old with a good arm.
Been with Cleveland from the Phillies. He went to Houston, couldn't make that team, went to Cleveland, California most recently, and last year in the Pittsburgh chain, pitched for Buffalo, was 6-3. Has more or less corralled the wildness of his youth, but he finds himself 2-1 on a very slippery mound this afternoon.
Good ball clubs bring out the best in players who are looking for their best.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a challenge. You know, you are surrounded around good players. You've got good coaches. You know that if you do make a mistake, there's always somebody there to back you up. So you don't pitch with that, you know, that mentality that you've got to throw everything perfectly to get the hitter out.
Osmus went after ball 4 right there with the Tigers trailing by 8. However, the bases were loaded. That pitch looked up in the strike zone, but a full count to Brad Osmus. 1 out. Kapler down at first base. It's a 9-1 Yankee lead. Tapped foul. Still 3-2 to Brad Osmus, the catcher. Top of the 6th inning. The Yankees scoring 3 in the 2nd on a home run by Tino Martinez and a 2-run shot by Scott Brocious. Then a grand slam home run by Chili Davis, his 8th career grand slam in the 3rd inning. And then a 2-run single by Chad Curtis, driving in 2 runs in the 5th inning. Check swing, Grimsley to Girardi for the sure out, 2 away.
Good play right there, because Grimsley, you could see that the turf here, Yankee Stadium, very slippery. Not even worrying about getting the double play, but making sure that force out at home. And I think Joe Girardi said he put 2 hands on that crazy thing. He didn't want it coming out of the glove. Very slippery now here at Yankee Stadium.
Base is still loaded, but there are 2 outs. Still a 9-1 Yankee lead. Here's Debbie Cruz, the shortstop. And as Bobby mentioned the last time, Debbie being a free swinger, it's 0-1 to Debbie Cruz. Fouled away, 0-2.
This is the time of game with the weather the way it is. When the hitter goes to the plate, they should all swing like Cruz. So, you know, if the pitcher and his mentality say, look, all I need to do is throw it over the plate, they'll be swinging at it. Not good conditions for hitting or pitching.
However, it is easier to hit when you're either way ahead or way behind, because you get more of a predictable pitch. Breaking ball, he did not go, says first base umpire Drew Coble.
I suspect there's another breaking ball in the future of Cruz coming up here pretty soon. Pretty good breaking curveball from Grimsley. And even a better stop from Joe Girardi. Looked like it caught a piece of the right hand, too. Those catchers really take a beating, don't they, Tim?
Yes, Bobby.
Some do it without a mask on.
There's no truth to that rumor. 2-2 to Cruz.
Some look like they've done it without a mask on.
There's no truth to that rumor either. How can you talk about Yogi like that?
I'm not talking about my man.
I know you're trying to commit to me, right? Matter of fact, Yogi did catch one in the face when his bar on his mask broke back in the late 50s. As Cruz goes down on strikes. The Tigers scoring 1 in the 6th, but it's 9-1. Yankees on top. We'll be back.
Well, back here at Yankee Stadium, and the ground crew, well, they're doing the famed YMCA as they drag the field here. You can see that the mud is caked up on those grates that they drag around the field to smooth it out. It looked for a moment there, Tim, like the umpires were asking the ground crew to put the tarpaulin on the field. That's what I thought they had motion. I said, well, they can't put the tarp on the field. They're doing the YMCA.
The ground crew said just as soon as we're through doing the YMCA, we'll put the turfus on, okay?
Well, you can see the YMCA is over with, so the turfus now is being spread around again on the infield.
While we have a moment, let's take a look at the National League scoreboard, brought to you by Continental. All the action under the lights. The Mets losing to Montreal last night, 5-1. They will be playing again over the weekend. Chicago at Pittsburgh. Philadelphia at Florida. Arizona at Atlanta. Houston hosting the Milwaukee Braves. And Cincinnati at St. Louis. How about that Fernando Tatis with 3 home runs, 1 in each of the first 3 games, trying to steal some of Mark McGuire's thunder.
Well, Fernando Tatis with the Texas Rangers, they had high hopes for him.
What did I say, Braves, not Brewers?
Said the Braves.
I said Milwaukee Braves?
Yep.
Boy, what a... Did I say Atlanta? Did I say Atlanta Brewers?
But I remember them.
Oh, yeah. Moving to Atlanta in 1966.
He needs to clean his glass.
He needs some wipers. Yes, he does.
Well, I commend the fans who have stuck around for this game, because it is not the best of conditions, obviously, here at the stadium. But the rain continues to fall, and if you have some plastic, this is a good look at that how red that kid's hands are, because it looks like they're frozen, as a matter of fact. Well, if you've got some plastic, this is a time to cover up.
The rain is supposed to move out of the New York area, we understand, and the weather tomorrow will be cool. There's still tickets available for tomorrow's game. The game beginning at 1:35. We'll be on the air at 1:30. So if you can't make it to the stadium, you can catch us on Fox 5. Ditto for Sunday.
Yeah, Roger Clemens starts tomorrow for the Yankees against Brian Moeller. So that's a good pitching matchup. And Orlando Hernandez finishes up this homestand. El Duque, job well done in his first start here in 1999. So a couple of pretty good games coming up right after this home opener. And we're going to televise every one of them here on Fox 5 in case you can't make it out of the stadium.
So Joe Girardi leads it off here in the bottom of the 6th inning with the Yankees on top 9-1. Joe looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 5 in the young season, and the slider from Masao Kida is outside and low. 1-0 to Joe Girardi. That looked like a nasty splitter from Kida. 1-1 to Joe.
Most of the Japanese pitchers normally have unusual delivery. Especially in Japan, they've got either low, they've got the forkball, they've got all kinds of little different trick things that they do to distract the batter. Lots of unusual ways of delivering the ball towards home plate. That's pretty conventional, I mean, as far as Kida is concerned, as compared to his home run and the way they pitch. There's a lot of submariners over there, as a matter of fact.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Joe Girardi. Outside and low. Bobby, I'm often asked by fans the difference between a splitter and a forkball. And this is kind of a, I guess for sake of a better term, a homemade explanation. Girardi grounds towards short. Debbie Cruz, wild throw, Girardi out. 1 out here in the 6th inning with the Yankees on top 9-1. by explanation and definition, as you see Debbie Cruz, and you can also see how difficult it is for the footing for everybody involved in this game, is that a splitter is held down toward the ends of the fingers, a fork ball is choked more, and two other characteristics: a splitter is thrown harder and a fork ball slower. Which I guess is redundant, but get the drift.
Most of the fork ballers, the split fingers guys that throw it real well have real long fingers, so they overlap the baseball as compared to wedging the baseball in between the first two fingers. Well, when I saw Bruce Sutter and looked at his hands, he's got the longest fingers I've ever seen. Of course, he was the guy that actually designed the split finger. I called him I used to call it the designer pitch, you know, from Bruce Sutter, because we didn't know much about the split finger back in those days.
Right.
But until he developed the split finger, he probably wouldn't even have been in Major League Baseball, especially on the big league level, because of he just didn't have good enough stuff to get anybody else out without the split finger.
Developed it in the minor leagues. Elroy Face, on the other hand, back in the late 50s, early 60s for the Pirates, was a man of diminutive stature. He was short. He had short, chubby fingers, and obviously couldn't throw a splitter very hard, but choked the fork ball, and that's why his was a fork ball, and a guy like Sutter's was a splitter. It's really semantics, but it is a 9-1 Yankee lead. That was Clay Bellinger you saw warming up. He has never played in a major league game. Clay cried when Don Zimmer told him he had made the team, and we may see Clay Bellinger for Knobloch in the top of the 7th inning. Full count now to Chuck Knobloch. What do you think's running through his mind right now?
One thing's not running through his mind. He's not cold.
No, oh no, that's right. Well, you got that right.
And if Zim asks him if he's loose, I think the answer is going to be yes.
Are you kidding? Yeah. Well, Knobloch walks, so Chuck will go to first base. Now you can imagine a young man toiling in the minor leagues for 10 years, signed with the San Francisco Giants, gets a chance with the Yankees, makes the club in spring training, makes a world championship club on top of that, and now perhaps a chance to see him in the top of the 7th inning. Certainly looks that way. Here's Derek Jeter.
Excuse me. And one of the reasons that he makes the ball club is because he can play so many different positions. Of course, Soho's the guy that you probably would go to first, but Bellinger certainly has a decent speed. He doesn't have the Homer Bush type speed, but he can play all positions for Zimmer and also Joe Torre, and that's so valuable today, to have a guy of that talent that can play many positions for you and play them well.
0-1 to Derek Jeter. 1 on, 1 out. 9-1 Yankees, and a good splitter from Kidda. Yeah, that's right. Homer Bush goes to Toronto, so that opens up a utility role. Roger Clemens will be the starting pitcher tomorrow. Will be on the air at 1:30. These same two teams. And then 1:30 on Sunday. We'll carry that game also. Good breaking ball. Looked like a curveball as opposed to the splitter. And then it's 1-2 to Derek Jeter, hitless on the afternoon.
Up high, you can see the ball just kind of dipping, and it did have enough of the plate. It was just too low.
Inside, ball 2. 2-2 to Derek. Not gone hitless in any game thus far this year. Anything but. 7 for 13 against the Athletics.
I hope he read the paper before he put it over his head.
Another splitter, stays inside and low. 3-2 with an 8-run lead. It's not considered unethical in baseball ethics to send the runner here. Looking at Jose Cardinal is Chuck Knobloch, and there's Shane Spencer on deck. We'll see. Not running. Line foul. When you send the runner on a day like today, it's almost, he's not running. You can change it as an announcer as he's not walking. It's tough to run on this field.
Tough to run, period, because you're not that loose.
Right.
You need to be careful because those quick movements is when you pull a muscle.
Did he hold up? Yes. So Derek Jeter draws another walk. In a game like this, you would think that there would be a lot of walks. There have been 7 Yankee walks on the afternoon. And there have been 6 Detroit walks, so 13 walks. And here's Shane Spencer, first at bat of the year. What a remarkable September this man had.
Just a what you call a movie. They can make a movie of it. I think they've made a couple of them already.
They made one in November, and Ricky Leday. And this one hit to right center field, and it finds the gap. Knobloch scores. Jeter's going to score. Shane Spencer on one pitch picks up where he left off last September. 11-1 New York.
Zimmer and Torrey love this young man because he's got power, he's got a short, quick stroke, and he goes the opposite way this time. He could hit the ball out of the ballpark. He had a, as Tim was saying, a storybook September and playoffs for the Yankees. He hustles, he tries, and one of the things that Spencer was a little bit disappointed in, that he found himself on the backfield, and all the talk in spring training was that Spencer was not going to make this ball club. So he had to listen to that. But he had a great spring for the Yankees, and he did everything the Yankees wanted him to do, and even more. So here he is.
So Ricky Leday pinch hitting. And there's Clay Bellinger on deck. The worst thing that could happen right now for Clay Bellinger would be for the umpires to call out the tarp. Matt Anderson in the bullpen. I think you would have a one-man riot if they did that. Nasty splitter there, and Leday down his first major league at bat. Here's Clay Bellinger.
Well, Ricky Leday, in his first start in Oakland, he struck out 3 times. He's got such a sweet swing. One of his problems is making contact. He strikes out a little bit too much.
So Clay Bellinger becomes the oldest regular player to make his debut with the Yankees at 30 years old. The other 2, older than Clay, were both relief pitchers.
But he made it.
But he made it.
He
you
made
bet.
it. And like you said, such a great story in Los Angeles, or before the Yankees broke, when they told him that he had made this ball club before the season started. It was such an emotional experience for him, and something that he had always wanted in his life, that he got emotional and cried. So you got to really hand it to Clay Bellinger for sticking in there and believing that someday he would indeed play on the major league level and play for a world championship ball club on opening day. What a story. Another story.
This one hit foul, and you can understand why Clay was quick on that swing.
Broke his bat, so he'll have to go back and get some more lumber.
Guarantee you, nobody in baseball could throw a fastball by him right now. He is so pumped up.
Well, with these conditions, and as cold as it is, nobody wants to swing an inside pitch right now.
Except for Clay.
Except for Bellinger.
0-2 to Clay. Spencer on at second. Shane saw one pitch, rifled one into right center to score Knobloch and Jeter. It's 11-1 New York. Held up, 1-2 to Clay. Clay from Oneonta, New York. Yankees minor league team, the Class A team, has been there forever. There's the mayor, he's still here, Rudolph Giuliani.
Big Yankee fan.
And the splitter gets Bellinger. Clay's first major league at bat, memorable nonetheless. It's 11-1. The Yankees lead the Tigers after 6.
Well, back here at the stadium, top of the 7th inning, Yankees in a blowout, 11-1 over the Tigers at Grimsley. And tomorrow, it'll be the Yankees at this same Tiger Ball Club. Rocket to Roger Clemens. Well, toe the mound for the Yankees starting at 1:30 tomorrow here on Fox 5.
Jason Grimsley in relief of David Cone. Coney going 5 1/3 innings and giving up only 1 hit, 1 run. Ricky Leday in center field. And Clay Bellinger, the first baseman.
Well, David Cone started this game. Let's go back to part of the game, and David Cone, who had a no-hitter going, striking out Jeffries there, and then getting easily to strike out. Cone was pretty awesome today as far as his control was concerned, despite the weather conditions, it being cold and cool. Easley was a victim 2 times against David Cone. And the rookie Kapler also was a victim. In the 6th inning, though, Dean Palmer with a little flare just out of the reach of Tino Martinez. That was the first base hit that Cone had given up, and Coney was talking to the umpires about, you know, the conditions are not really very good out there. In fact, it was pretty dangerous at that time. Water was standing on the field, and I think he was trying to let them know. So since that time, the Yankees and Don Zimmer, they've made quite a few changes. Bellinger's down in the game. Leday is in the game. Shane Spencer's in the game. Of course, Grimsley came in to take over for Cone in the 6th inning. And Andy Pettit in uniform this afternoon here at Yankee Stadium. It appears that his ankle is all right. He did pitch yesterday, and he's having a nice conversation with Roger Clemens.
Andy will receive the World Championship ring on Sunday, and we talked about it earlier. Roger Clemens standing on the sideline watching all the guys receive their rings. That's just got to be a little more grist for Roger, hoping that he will get one after this year. With the tiers in the playoff system, the divisional playoffs, then you have the League Championship Series and the World Series. Winning a World Series now, and this is certainly not to take away from any of the players who won it years ago, but winning the World Series now is more difficult than it ever was.
Especially with those best-of-5 series.
Sure.
Now they've gone to the best-of-7, but anything can happen when you play a short series. I think that's what you're alluding to.
Absolutely.
But the thing about it is, if you've got strong pitching, such as Roger Clemens, David Cone, Andy Pettit, those types of players and pitchers, you've got a better chance of winning a short series.
An example, last year, the New York Yankees faced the Texas Rangers, and in 3 games, the Rangers score 1 run.
That's still puzzling to Johnny Oates. I was talking to him in spring training, and that's the first thing that he brought up. He said, who would have ever thought that we would score only 1 run against the Yankees. Yet I know they've got good pitching, but we got one of the most potent offensive clubs in history. But you're right, prime example.
Yep.
The first baseman, Frank Catalanato is the first baseman. We mentioned earlier from Smithville, New York, from Long Island. And the splitter from Jason Grimsley is low, ball 1. Frank's parents, again, to reiterate that story, Frank's parents wouldn't allow him to come to Yankee Stadium for the opener when he was in high school. Here he is playing in it. Lifted toward left center, easy play for Chad Curtis. 1 out here in the 7th.
If you're an outfielder, those are the kind of plays that you like this time of the day.
Oh, I would imagine. Anything easy. Greg Jeffries, the batter.
Well, let's see here. I don't see any mustard on his uniform around his mouth, so he's gone to the hot dogs yet.
Greg is listed yet again at 5'10" in the media guide. He takes ball 1.
Talking about hot dogs, Pete Sheehy, we were talking to Yogi early on about Pete Sheehy, the famed Yankee clubhouse man, which that's hit hard past Bellinger into right field for a base hit. So Jeffries gets on, but talking about hot dogs, Pete, when he first broke in, he was just a young kid, and Babe Ruth was playing. We'll take another look at this, and the Babe used to tell Pete, now, son, after the 3rd inning, I want those 2 hot dogs. You bring them down here to the tunnel for me. And he said Babe would always eat 2 hot dogs after the 3rd inning, and in the 4th inning, he'd ask for a bromo. So I had to get him a bromo tablet just after that. So he said McCarthy used to come to me and tell me, he said, look, young man, if you get the Babe any more hot dogs during the game, you're going to be out of here. He said, you know, the hot dogs make him sick. He gets a little bit upset stomach, and, you know, I need him to play. Babe would come to him and he'd say, look, Pete, you better have those hot. He said, what was I going to do? He said, so I figured out a way to always sneak the hot dogs to the Babe.
I think I'd listen to the Babe. However, the other day, as Damian Easley swings and misses, the other day was the anniversary of Babe Ruth going into the hospital with a bleeding ulcer. In 1925, he spent 5 weeks in the hospital, something today that could probably be taken orally and gotten rid of. But in those days, a bleeding ulcer was a major thing. Not to say it's not today, but Babe's training habits were not exemplary.
No, in fact, Don Zimmer has had a bleeding ulcer and got it taken care of last year. And before he left spring training, that was another thing that they checked on Zim, was the fact that the ulcer was fine, the esophagus was in good shape. He's still got a lot of problems with that right knee. And,
that's why he can't take inflammatory drugs, because of his ulcer.
Terrible.
Otherwise he'd take it for the swelling in his knee.
Terrible pain the knee is giving him at this particular time.
Tap towards short. Derek Jeter over to second for 1 out, and that gives you an idea of the conditions. Greg Jeffries went to slide and stuck. 2 outs.
There'll be no sliding.
No.
From this point on, you can see the water still on the infield, just standing out there. Let's see Jeffries. Oop. Well, he's about 5 steps short of the bag. I think this is the best time just to run through the bases. One more look at it. All right, here we go. Hit the dirt. No. Whoops. Whoop. There we go.
It's your stand-up slide, but about 2 feet.
Stand-up short slide, yeah.
In front of the bag. 1 ball to Bobby Higginson. Bobby is hitless in this ball game, but he loves Yankee Stadium. Only 1 active hitter of the 121 active hitters that have played at Yankee Stadium have better averages than Bobby. And that's Geronimo Guerrero. Higginson, a .382 batter here in Yankee Stadium with 5 home runs. And you can understand it, a left-handed hitter who likes to pull the ball in that friendly porch and right. 2-0 to Bobby Higginson.
Yeah, Higginson, like Jeffries, a contact hitter, normally puts the ball in play.
High, ball 3.
when you get a contact hitter that has a good idea of the strike zone, they will work you over pretty good. But they will not be swinging at too many bad pitches. You're going to have to throw one in the area that they like.
There's a strike, 3-1 to Higgins.
Knoblauch looks like he's frozen.
This one yanked down the right field line, and it's gone. Home run, Bobby Higginson. It's an 11-3 ball game. Talked about how Higginson loves it here at Yankee Stadium. And he just proved it. That's the second home run of the year for Bobby. RBIs number 4 and 5, and he picked on a 3-1 high fastball.
Yeah, Bobby Higginson also plays in a park that gives up a lot of home runs, the most in the major leagues. That's Tiger Stadium. And you can see with that short, quick stroke, this ball gets out of here in a hurry all the way up into the upper deck.
Low to Dean Palmer, ball 1. Ball 2 to Palmer. We will be in Tiger Stadium with a couple of games next weekend, as a matter of fact. Saturday and Sunday, 2-day games. Catches here on Fox 5. 2-0 pitch in there, 2 balls and a strike.
Kirk Gibson, a broadcaster for the Tigers now on Fox, along with Joss Lewin.
This one hit deep to center field. Back is Leday to make the play. Ricky Leday ran to the spot and hauls it in. Tigers scored 2 off Jason Grimsley. However, it's a big day for the Yankee offense. 11-3, bottom of the 7th coming up. Bottom of the 7th inning. It has been an offensive show for the Yankees. 11-3. And let's take a look at the Budweiser 7th inning game summary. How did we get to this spot? Tino Martinez opened the scoring with a solo home run, his first of the year. Scott Brocious with a 2-run homer in the same inning. Then in the 3rd, after an intentional walk to Tino Martinez to load him up, Chili Davis hit a grand slam. And with the score 7-0 in the 5th, Chad Curtis, an RBI single up the middle, actually 2 RBIs. In the 6th inning, a walk to the center fielder Kapler, walked in a run. David Cohn was chased. Jason Grimsley relieved him. And then Shane Spencer on the first pitch of the '99 season doubled to right center field, scoring Knoblauch and Jeter. And then a 2-run homer by Bobby Higginson, his 2nd of the year, in the top of the 7th inning. And that's how we arrived at the score of 11-3. Tim McCarver, Bobby Mercer from the stadium on a messy day, but a good day for the Yankee hitters. Seems like, Bobby, they scored while their toe hole was okay.
Well, that's what they are trying to do, is to make it at least where you can get a good stance at home plate, putting a lot of turfus on the field. What that turfus does, it soaks up the water and dries out the ground underneath it. But it's still continuing to rain here at the stadium, and the infield, each and every half inning, they come out to work on it. And you can see, I don't know if they're going to be able to dry up the home field, but you can see there's still water standing around the infield.
I think some concern has to be about the game tomorrow. If it continues to rain, for instance, until the wee hours of the morning, say 3 a.m. or so, and then it stops, the ground crew tomorrow morning will have a heck of a job getting the field ready to play at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Well, all the Yankees have to do now is get 6 outs, and the game will be over with. And I think the umpires, 9 outs total for the game.
Louis Garcia has come in the game, by the way, to replace Debbie Cruz. Debbie's day is over. Chili Davis will be the hitter to lead it off for the Yankees. Chili with a grand slam home run back in the 3rd inning. And for Chili, those were RBIs numbered 12, 96, 7, make that 97, 8, 9, and 1,300 on the button. 8 grand slams, 1,300 RBIs, and that's a ton, folks.
Jose looks like he put a jacket underneath his uniform. He's got gloves on, and he still looks cold. Jose, I told him the other night.
Junior.
I said, Junior, you had a bad night in Oakland. He threw one ball away and let the other one go through his leg.
Never hit the cutoff fan. We told him. Chili fouls it back, 0-1. Masao Kida, the Japanese pitcher, the 8th Japanese pitcher to play Major League Baseball, in relief of the starter, Baker Gratterall. Outside corner, 0-2 to Chili Davis. Low, ball 1, 1-2. Now see, Willie's not cold. Look at Junior. Looks like the coat hanger's still in his shirt.
I played with Jose when we were with the Cubs. He was something.
He is something.
They love him.
Could he ever play?
Oh, could he ever? Of course, he had a little bit more hair back in those days.
A little hair on his throws, a little hair on the balls he hit, I'll tell you.
Thought a couple of times when they got a big gust of wind, he was gone.
Over the leap of the 3rd baseman, Dean Palmer. So Chili Davis with an opposite field hit. That is hit number 4 on the afternoon for Chili Davis. Chili saying, I love opening days.
Well, he's gone to right field with a base hit. He's gone to right field with a grand slam. In right field with another base hit. This time he says, well, I've already tested right field out. Let's go to left field and see what we can do there.
Yankees have only 8 hits, and I say only because usually you score 11 runs. You're looking at 14 or 15 hits. But because the grand slam, they've hit 3 home runs and a double to drive in another 2. And then Chad Curtis, who's the batter, just took strike 1, drove in the other 2 runs, Knobloch and Jeter, with a single. 11-3, New York on top. Slider on there. 0-2 to Chad Curtis. Tapped foul, still 0-2. A lot of people may forget about of course you can't forget about last season, but forget about how the Yankees ended last season. They ended the '98 season winning their last 7. Then they won 11 of 13 in postseason. So in effect, they won 18 out of their last 20 games as Curtis goes down on strikes. 1 out here in the 7th.
Indicative of this ball club, though. They no matter how many games they win, no matter what position that they are in, every day is a game that they try to win. There's nothing, no slack. As Dan Nolte now begins to throw for the Yankees in their bullpen. But I think that's the reason the Yankees set a new all-time record as far as wins are concerned. Another world championship for them, 2 in the last 3 years. They don't give up.
Talking to Chris Chambliss, I know you were talking to him the other day, and do almost every day, but talking to him today, and as this wild pitch gets by Osmus, and Chili Davis will stop at second base. First wild pitch thrown by Kida. Davis at second with 1 out, but Chris saying that you know, the lineup really, they feed off one another. They're led by Paul O'Neill and the intensity that he brings to every at bat. Jeter learning a lot from Knobloch and how Chuck approaches every at-bat by taking a lot of pitches. Jeter, a free swinger coming up, but very intelligent, learned from Knobloch. The patience of Tino Martinez, the free-spiritedness of Chili Davis, remarkable ability of Bernie Williams, along with his intelligence. You just got such a mixture similar to their pitching staff. Their pitching staff gives you so many looks to look for.
And along with a leader like Joe Torre, who knows how to take all of that and mix it into the right ingredient.
Fly ball left field. Garcia, 2 outs. So Davis at second with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Joe Girardi, the catcher, looking for his first hit of the year.
The catcher.
Orlando Hernandez, I believe.
We'll see. I can't.
Who is that masked man?
I don't know. You're right, El Duque.
The eyes have it.
That's the Duke.
El Duque will be pitching on Sunday after Roger Clemens works tomorrow. Roger Clemens and Brian Moeller, the fine right-hander for the Tigers. Great matchup. No balls and a strike to Joe Girardi.
The only game that the Tigers have won this year so far was the one that Moeller pitched.
That was opening day against the Texas Rangers. They won 11-5. 1-1 to Girardi. He doesn't miss much, does he?
Roger Clemens's work habits are indicative of the way you should play baseball and approach it. You won't see him moving from that dugout. He's watching this ball club.
Ground ball, and Girardi has his first hit and his first RBI. He slides around first and goes in standing with a double. It's 12-3 New York.
On this wet infield, Dean Palmer having problems moving at third base, and you can see Girardi slipping as he leaves the batter's box. Look at the water standing on the field. And Dean Palmer having terrible time with the traction there, which leads to a base hit, and now they have called for the tarpaulin to be put on the field.
You know, Bobby, normally you would have to wait 45 minutes the first time. Common sense dictates, the way I see it, to call the game right now, and that way the field's going to be in good shape for tomorrow. I know the umpires normally wait, but the way that field is right now, the tarp being on there is going to do no good.
Well, the only thing, the other side of that scenario, as far as the Tigers are concerned, they started the game in this weather. They've played already, what is that, 6 2/3 innings here at Yankee Stadium, and for their sake, you know, they will wait probably the 45 regular minutes that they normally would do and make the call. Everybody knows that the field is not playable.
If it's a 5-3, 6-3 game, or even 8-3 or something like that, I could understand that. But it's 12-3. You know, man in scoring position. It's the bottom of the 7th inning. Conditions are horrible, and we know that. But the one thing is that tarp being on the field is not going to help that infield.
And the major issue is we don't want a player to get hurt.
Yeah, right.
That's the major issue.
And having the field ready by tomorrow, too. But I know the rule book says that you got to wait 45 minutes. Joe Girardi, on the other hand, thankful to home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom, and almost looked like Joe was telling him that, thank you for allowing me to get my hit first, because everything will count up until the time the game is called, if it is called, and I would think that after 45 minutes or so it will be called.
A lot of water standing on the infield. There's no way. Every half inning, the ground crew has been out there putting that turfus on the infield, and it's doing absolutely no good, because if you look at it now, I mean, there's water all over the place. As now they will put this tarpaulin over that wet infield. It's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Even if they can resume play, it'll take a long time to get the field in shape. But tomorrow's game, they certainly don't want to lose tomorrow's game.
We understand that the rain will stop sometime around midnight tonight. It's going to be cool tomorrow. There are still plenty of seats available for tomorrow and Sunday. And you can catch Roger Clemens in his Yankee Stadium debut as a Yankee pitcher. Now, obviously, he's pitched here. As a matter of fact, the last time that Roger pitched here, the Yankees had a bench-clearing brawl because actually it was more of a verbal spat. When Roger Clemens, they thought Roger was throwing too tight to a bunch of their hitters. There was yelling and screaming in the Toronto Blue Jay dugout. That was, I believe it was late August of last year. Early September, something like that. Yeah.
The real bench clearing brawl that they had was against the Orioles and Benitez when he hit Tino Martinez. Now that was scary. That night really got scary because you could just see somebody injuring themselves and possibly a career injury in that melee that we had here, and it went on and on and on and on. And it was really something that got out of hand and was scary for the players and also the fans too.
That happened on May 19th of last year when Baltimore signaled to the rest of the American League with that game that in a sense the frustration that they were going through. And it seemed to me like after that game the Yankees picked up momentum and Baltimore lost steam.
You know what I thought was interesting in that particular game, talking about Baltimore, that fight that they got into with the Yankees. After the game, the spokesperson for Baltimore was a guy by the name of Lenny Webster. You didn't hear from Ripken. You didn't hear from Palmeiro. You didn't hear from B.J. Surhoff. None of the guys that you would expect to be the spokesperson for that ball club. It was almost like them saying Benitez was wrong. He shouldn't have done what he did, and I respectfully say I'm not going to say anything about it.
Matter of fact,
Lenny Webster was the guy that was a spokesperson.
Ray Miller the next day in the paper said that Armando Benitez had made a mistake and that he had done a foolish thing. You know, I've never heard of that. Have a manager, regardless of how wrong the pitcher may have been, a manager to come right out and say, "Hey, pal, you're on your own. You did that because of frustration." I had never seen until then any manager make a comment like that, but Miller came right out and said it, and now Armando Benitez is pitching across town for the Mets, and really had to. After last year, he had to change scenery.
The action by Benitez in that game was the fact that it was deliberate. You knew that it was deliberate, and then after he did it, he challenged the Yankee bench to come on out and see what they could do.
Yeah, and that was
and they took the challenge.
That was not a smart
and
thing
you don't
to do.
go hitting a guy like Tino Martinez, who is so respected by their players.
Not with guys as teammates like Darryl Strawberry and Graham Lloyd. Graham Lloyd in that
big
fight.
tall Aussie boy, he was throwing some haymakers and
sure
missing most of the time, but they were sure awesome.
Yeah,
and Strawberry too. Well, they've got the tarpaulin on the field, and still a few fans hanging around here at Yankee Stadium. And you got an umbrella, it's a lot better to be sitting in the stands without one, obviously. If you're a Yankee fan, you always want to be close to the action. Unfortunately, there's no action right now.
Out in right center field, next to the Budweiser sign, there's the famous Norman Rockwell painting. Obviously not a painting, but a rendition of that as we zero in on that. Bill Clem was the umpire. That's that painting, the original, is in Cooperstown, New York, about 17 miles from Clay Bellinger's hometown, Oneonta. Bill Clem, whose famous line, "It ain't a strike unless I call it."
No truer words spoken.
That's right. Well, it's been raining throughout the game. The Yankees scored 3 in the second inning, 4 in the third, 2 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, and 1 in the seventh. They lead the Tigers 12-3. There have been 3 home runs hit by New York. Tino Martinez with a solo shot. Scott Brocious hit a 2-run shot and a grand slam by Chili Davis. Bobby Higginson has homered with 1 aboard. for the Tigers. So 12-3 Yankees, and we are going to throw it to commercial, and we'll be back at Yankee Stadium, a rainy, wet, soggy Yankee Stadium with New York on top. I know you probably are tuning in to a semblance of Rogers Hornsby, and what you're hearing is Bruce Hornsby in the background. The Yankees handily out in front of the Detroit Tigers, 12-3. 3 home runs hit by the Yankees, 1 home run by the Tigers, a grand slam home run by Chili Davis to bring his career RBI total to 1,300 with his 8th grand slam of the afternoon. It's been raining all day. Really put a damper on opening day, hadn't it, Bobby?
Well, I don't think so. You know what? Despite what happens from this point on, I know it's a disappointment. We don't. It doesn't look like we're going to get a 9-inning game out of this opener. But all the festivities that happened before this rain, with the raising of the flag, with Whitey and the Scooter out in left center field, raising that 24th World Championship flag for this New York Yankee franchise. And the fact that Yogi Berra was here to throw out the first pitch. You got Robert Merrill singing the national anthem. Sunday's going to be a great day because of the ring ceremony. But just the fact that it was such a history-making year of 1998, and everybody was here with all the celebrities and all the dignitaries, and being here at this great grand old stadium of Yankee Stadium and all the history that's behind it, and our guys showing the Monument Park out there and what that really means to this franchise. And I urge everyone, if you ever come to Yankee Stadium and you have just a moment or two, you should walk out beyond left center field fence out there, because a walk through Monument Park, it'll send chills up and down your spine.
Yankee Stadium in its 76th year, number 8, Yogi Berra is out there, and Bobby talking about Yogi throwing out the first ball. In the 76 years of this stadium, it's the first time Yogi Berra has ever predicted a home run would be hit, and it happened. Chili Davis's grand slam. You could hear Yogi say, well, if they walk Tino Martinez, Chili will probably hit one out. Well, sure enough, yeah. Chili hit one out.
He did.
It's not that easy. Yogi can do everything.
He can do it all, and he certainly did it here this afternoon. 14 years it's been since Yogi has been back in the Yankee Stadium and put that Yankee hat on, and of course having him up here in the booth to chat with us just for a moment or two. That's just the way it's supposed to be. Yogi with a great big smile on his face. He's happy to be back home, and all the Yankee fans, George Steinbrenner and his franchise, are happy that Yogi has come back to Yankee Stadium, and we're going to see his smiling face around here quite often here in 1999.
It was good to have him in the booth today. Not only Yogi, but Phil Rizzuto and Whitey Ford. Whitey Ford throwing to Yogi all those years. I didn't realize Yogi's first year he switched time between right field and catching in 1947.
Well, of course, we know Yogi as being the catcher and not much of the outfielder, but that was kind of interesting that he brought that up. He said, oh, yeah, he said, well, they put me out in actually, he said they stuck me out in right field because they wanted my bat in the lineup.
Wanted my bat in the lineup. He knew.
Yeah,
there
really
he is, right, the bottom right. As we said earlier, all the catchers always go on the front row. Yogi, no exception.
Of course, I got a big chuckle out of the fact that 64 was the year the Yankees lost the series to the St. Louis Cardinals, and you had to play a big part of that. And we kind of threw that into this flashback and had Yogi comment on it. He said, oh, yeah, I remember that. Sure. McCarver, yeah. Well, that was obviously St. Louis won the championship that year, but I thought that was great.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about that year was that when the Yankees lost the World Series, Yogi was fired. Johnny Keane became the manager. Johnny was the manager of the Cardinals, and you may or may not remember, but he was the manager of the Cardinals. He became the manager of the Yankees, and he was your manager your first year in the Major Leagues.
My first year in the Major Leagues, and I never will forget it. 1965, Tony Kubek had announced the fact that that he was retiring from baseball, and Johnny Keane made a statement in the winter that year to the press that there's a kid by the name of Mercer. If he can cut the mustard in spring training, he's got a chance to make the ball club. For some reason or another, I had a pretty good spring as far as the bat was concerned, but my glove was a little shaky.
You've got to tell that story about Clete Boyer drawing the line near second base. You got to tell it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was my first time here at Yankee Stadium or my second time here at the stadium, but Clete put his arm around me. I'm at shortstop, Clete's at third, obviously. This was before the game, taking the infield throws, and he put his arm around me and he said, "Follow me, young man." So we headed off towards second base, and we probably got no more than 3 steps to second base, and he took his cleats and just kind of drew a line like this, and he says, "All right, you've got everything from the left side of this line. I'll take everything from the right." Just something to kind of loosen me up a bit.
Yeah, we knew he had great range, but not that good. Right. Clete Boyer, and one of my teammates, a great captain of the Cardinals during that 1964 series, Kenny Boyer. And one great thing, when Kenny Boyer hit the grand slam home run against Al Downing in Game 4 to tie the series, I was sitting in the obviously the third base dugout, and when Kenny came around with the one thing I remember is Clete whacking him on the rear end, as if to say, "Nice going, but why'd you do that?" Yeah. You know, one of those deals. Yeah. It was to the great Boyer family. Bobby and I will be back to Yankee Stadium, and we don't know whether we're going to wrap it up or not. 12-3 Yankees. We talked about it before. That's Bill Clem with his hand out. That's in right center field here at Yankee Stadium, and the originals up at the Hall of Fame, drawn by, or colored, I guess, by Norman Rockwell. We are in a rain delay. The Yankees all over the Tigers this afternoon. As a matter of fact, we had that episode of MASH, and that's what it's been at Yankee Stadium today as far as the Yankees are concerned, MASH.
And they were mashing early on in this game. In fact, it was Tino Martinez who got the Yankees on the board with his first home run of 1999, and Scott Brocious, that came in the second inning, and then Scott Brocious came with a 2-run shot also in the second inning. But the big blow, the one that Yogi predicted, was Chili Davis, a grand salami, the first one of 1999. Let's take another look at it. This coming in the third inning. No place to put Chili Davis, so he just puts it out of the ballpark. And that was the blow that really broke this game wide open. And Chili Davis, somebody, Timmy, they were talking about, we've talked about for several times already early on this season. Can the Yankees be any better than what they were last year? Well, all I can tell you is they didn't have Chili Davis all last year.
Chili Davis, and as you bring up also Roger Clemens, Darryl Strawberry is down. Actually, Darryl Strawberry was in the ballpark today. He was ready for the introductions, but there were no introductions because of the rain. David Cone pitching a no-hitter today through 5 innings. He did walk 4. He was relieved in the 6th inning by Jason Grimsley, and this is where we are right now. It's the Yankees 12 over the Tigers, who have 3 runs. We don't see how they can continue playing, but we've said that before. There is a possibility the game could be completed. As Bobby said earlier, the Yankees only need 6 more outs. The Tigers only have 3 hits. It's the Yankees all over Detroit, 12-3. And now we are going to join Living Single here on Fox 5.